Good evening, everybody. Your favorite Series E host, Yeso, here to bring you day 3 of our Season 3 Series E qualifiers. Excited to get back into the action tonight. We had 2 great days of play last week, and we have 2 more here this week, today and tomorrow, and then we will know the teams that qualify for Season 3. Now, for those of you that are new, you may not know just how Series E works, but it's okay. I'm here to break it down for you, okay? Series E is a professional Apex Legends open circuit that absolutely anyone can join. We have 5 teams that qualified based on their placement in Season 2, and we are playing out the qualifiers here to decide the final 4. All 9 of those teams will be drafted and signed by our 9 partnered brands. They will then make $750 a month salary, as well as compete weekly for points and prize money every Tuesday against other open squads, and then every single Wednesday against the top pros from across North America and Europe. And even if you don't qualify, you can still participate, come in, play, and compete, as we ignore what's going on in the studio here. But you can compete. Just sign up at matcherino.com/ESA to get in on all of the fun. Now, as we get ready for the week here tonight, I do want to remind you guys of something that is going on here very soon, and it is our 10K Invitational. It's coming up here in just over a week, June 19th. Okay, it's going to be a week from Saturday, $10,000 on the line, and we have some top pros coming out to compete. Of the teams that we have already announced, we've got It's Timmy's squad with Nicewig and a prize. We've got Renegades, NRG, CLG, G2, and Era Eternity. So some big names coming out to compete for that prize, and we even have more squads to announce coming soon. So keep an eye out on socials for that, but you're not going to want to miss $10,000 on the line. That's a week from Saturday, 2 p.m. Pacific time. You aren't going to want to miss it. It'll be live right here at twitch.tv/esportsarena. Now, as we get prepared for tonight, I mentioned earlier, we already had 2 days of qualifiers last week, and we've got our final 2 today and tomorrow. And I want to just kind of give you guys a preview of what we've seen so far. So we're going to bring up our cumulative standings here, and the way it works out, okay? Previous seasons, all you had to do was get first place on a single qualifying night, you were in. It no longer works that way. Now you have to place in the top 4 in cumulative standings across the entire qualifier. So it is important to come out every single night and keep racking up points. So as we take a peek at these standings, obviously CHR, you may know them as Obey Alliance. You may have seen them playing in ALGS and qualifying for finals this past weekend. Those guys sitting up the top here, 91 points for them, an absolutely huge week. But to note, they're not here tonight. So a big opportunity for some of these other squads to try and jump above them and maybe push them out of that top 4. CHR is comfortable right now, but after tonight's action, that may change. XO has been impressive. They had a really good first night of action. Not as great on night 2, but still up there in second place. Dudes Night Out, another one to keep an eye on. Their duplex of Team Applejacks from last season competing with that squad. Skirt rounds out the top 4 for now, but there's a bunch of teams right behind them. Look, FMS at 60 points, and Nick Cage Match 52, tied with Sign Us Please here. 6XZs was a squad that I had high expectations for coming into qualifiers. They've done okay. 45 points. They are within spitting distance of top 4. It's just 26 points separating them from that, but that is still a not insignificant margin to try and make up. So they're going to have some good matches. And again, Harbingers was a squad that I highlighted in our second day last week as one of those dark horses to try and jump into the top 4. They didn't have the night 2 that I was expecting though, so they have an even more difficult task here this time around, 31 points outside of that top 4. So a lot of storylines here to follow. Some other teams we can highlight here, No Competition, strong start, not as good second day, 2 Brains, 1 Controller, a squad that competed in ALGS this past week. They're struggling here. Team Superior as well. That's the squad that includes the entire Cheez-It roster from Season 2. Had high expectations for them. They have not delivered. They've got 2 more opportunities here to try and crack that top 4. So a lot of things to follow here. A lot of games to play. We do have 5 ahead of us here tonight. So I'm not going to waste your time anymore, folks. We're ready to get things rolling. And I got Jamerson and T-Squared ready to bring you all the action. So let's kick off day number 3 of our Series E qualifiers.
Series E.
Series E.
Series E. Apex Legends.
Apex Legends.
Series E. Series E. Apex Legends.
Series E Apex Legends starts right now. Welcome everybody to day 3 of the season 3 qualifiers here for Series E. I'm Jamerson, finally joined by Tom T-Squared. Taylor, missed you, buddy, but I'm glad to have you back. And so let's go ahead and talk about these qualifiers so far. Tonight we are going to have 5 matches being played out, although on last Thursday we had 4 matches. So I'm glad we're going back to the 5 matches because right now there are some squads that need some catching up to do. And one of the squads I really want to talk about is going to be Sign Us Please. That's going to be Synced and Wicked. And at that point, honestly, after one day, after 4 games, they had 50-some odd points. And so they're already catching up to teams that had a huge leg up, having been able to compete in day number 1. And so I'm looking forward to these matches. We'll see who actually made it through the qualifiers today. So let's go ahead and take a look at the format for today. As, of course, we do have $1,000 on the line. We have 5 matches being played out, and the point distribution, it just works out like it always does.
It does, and I'm excited about the team you just mentioned because those players can actually really pop off. And I was going back and thinking, I'm like, what were the 4 teams that are already in? And I can't believe that I forgot that Intel, the team that popped off the most towards the tail end of Series E, was a team that basically just stole 2 spots. I mean, it was 1 spot, but taken away from 2 teams. And that's just a tough break, and you could really put up a lot of points fairly quickly. And I'm looking forward to seeing which teams are going to be doing that today.
And Team Intel really proved themselves over this last weekend as well for the ALGS. A number of our partner teams doing quite well. And so right now, though, we are, of course, going to go ahead and take a look at the teams. And so a lot of names to keep an eye out for. Of course, we're waiting to see teams like 2 Brains, 1 Controller to have their pop-off day. Hasn't happened quite yet, but you know, Tech, Slurpee, and Odd Freestyle looks like another change up in the roster as well. So that might not be boding well for them. But like I said, Sign Us Please. That is the squad that I'm looking out for. Because across 4 games that we played on Thursday, they had 52 some odd points, I believe. And they were catching up. They're basically around 6th or 7th in the cumulative standing after only competing in half the games available to the other 4 squads in the top 4.
I'm looking at them. I'm looking at FMS. I think that's a solid team. Obviously, you have Skirt with Z Davis Exile helping. But on Team RAK, you can see that is C9 Renegade. I'm 99.9% sure that's the Halo player. So we got a Halo Pro coming in here, try to pull a snipe down and take over the Apex Legends scene. That's going to be interesting to see how he does today because he's actually a really, really talented player very mechanically skilled, has one of the best shots in Halo. So you don't want to really challenge this guy up close. You're going to be dealing with one of the most skilled controller players that we're going to have. Silver Fox, Vatra is a very solid player. Looking forward to see how they do. Team XOXO with Turns, that's another great team that we have to keep our eyes on. And there's a lot of talented players in this lobby.
Yeah, no, we do have 4 spots on the line, by the way. So 4 teams are looking to make it in for Series E. That means $750 per player across the course of 3 months as well. And tonight we have $1,000 on the line. $700 going to first place, $300 going to second place. I mean, there's so much at stake here. You know, if you want to be able to keep your competitive career alive, honestly, for a lot of the teams, this is it. This is your opportunity. It also opens up windows for other things as well. We have our big tournament that's going to be taking place next week, I believe, on the 19th. And as long as you finish within the top 4, top 5 of the season, you will get the invite to that tournament to play with huge content creators along with some of the best teams as well. It's basically like an Omega Pro Night at that point. So I'm really looking forward to that. Right now, we are getting game number 1 set up. It is going to be all across World's Edge, like we talked about. A lot on the line. A lot of these teams really need to show up today because we're only going to have one more night after this. And if we take a look at how quickly some squads really did pick up the pace. Again, I want to go back to Sign Us, please. 50 some odd points across 4 games. It's definitely impressive. I mean, they were basically averaging about 13 to 14 points per game, and that's kind of what we see out of the champions of Series E.
It's pretty nutty because it's tough to pull that many points off, but you think of that because are they playing consistent or are they popping off and then kind of having drop your lowest test score type of game? And they're the type of team that can really do both. They could play consistent, they could pop off, they could die, in the top 17 and still bounce back and have like a 30-point game the next game because they don't really care. They just understand the circumstances that, sometimes you get unlucky and you can't really win them all. But we got to give a shout out to Nicolas Cage Match. I think that's one of the more clever team names we've had so far.
Yeah, Season 1 Wingman, Oi Senpai, and Shinny PC have been doing quite well, and they are pretty damn good in the standings right now. So let's go ahead and head straight into game number 1 out of 5 tonight here. The Series E qualifiers, day number 3. Again, a lot on the line. $1,000 just for the night, and then, of course, fighting for your chance to become a partnered squad for Series E Season 3. So let's go ahead and head straight into the game.
It's going to be interesting to see if anyone decides they want a 50-50, and you can see it seems pretty chill on the map so far. It's a lot going on that north side, but 2 brains, 1 controller. I always want to see what type of composition that they're going to be running because you'll see if you watch Tech play at all, he's a big crypto fan, and he'll switch back and forth as Krillin's going to take a lot of damage. Apathy does as well. You can see directly above Apathy, there's going to be a player, but it's time to kind of play the low ground here, which is not what you want to do, especially with Renegade being so split up as Bambino actually gets a knock and finish on a Season 1. Man, that's going to be Tangy, and Tangy's in here. I actually missed that he was in this lobby, another one of the solid underrated players that we have in Apex, and this is a tough spot for Apathy and Renegade to be in now.
Yeah, we have a number of fights taking place across, as you can see, but there it is, Skittlecakes getting the knock onto Apathy, bringing this one down to a 2v1, so Renegade needs to get involved here. He's going to be on that Octane, hitting that stim, to try and get in. Jumps back to get some more cover, but looks like he's just calling it here. Apathy's already been thirsted, and now Renegade's on the run.
That's not how you want to have that start. 50-50ing over there and losing immediately is that's going to be Dude's night out. And Tangy, again, just very, very underrated player. Used to play a lot of Pathfinder. Now you can see on Gibraltar with a great combination for Gibraltar. I mean, R301 Purple Mag, massive in hand. And it's kind of, when you see that, you wonder, all right, well, there's a reason why they probably lost that fight. One, they were so split up, but that loot coming out from Tangy is phenomenal. There was 2 50-50s to start, and right now, Dude's night out, they are already doing well in the standings, and they're going to continue to feel good about this. We'll see what they get out of there. Digi-threat. It's typical. That's one of mine. I understand. Caster's Curse. I knew as soon, Jamerson, whenever they open these, you just need to be talking, because if I do, they're done for.
There's no dissuading that kind of curse. It's always going to be present. But we do have our first looks here. It is going to be pulling down over to the thermal station. You can see teams are starting to make their way on over. But we have quite a number of teams now over at the Skyhook side on the northern side. And we even have Two Brains, One Controller trying to push up, but RCO is here. He already dished out some damage on top of them. Nando's taking a lot of damage, and he needs to heal up. Luckily for him, he does have one up top. Two Brains, One Controller. We'll just go ahead and back away. The way the teams are all starting to converge upon Skyhook, you'd imagine this is a Skyhook ending, but no, this is actually pulling out to the south. Two Brains, One Controller are trying to get these early kill points, and that's why you have Tech, of course, on this Octane, trying to get a bit more aggressive here in the early game.
They're trying to jump head right now, Jamerson. That's why they all go to the roof right here. But this is an absolute cycle play. They do a lot of initial damage, though, as we hop on over to 400 and their fight happening over towards the side. That is going to be Shroom going down. That's actually 2 versus 1 right now, and that should be an easy finish coming out. Actually, Moon is going to be dropping Sunk throughout all of that, and then Gibraltar comes around the corner, and all of a sudden it looks like 400 has to dip out of here. I'm not even sure if he's going to be able to live, and no. Ridiculous plays as we hop back on board with RCO, and this is what I was anticipating. They looked like they were posturing all 3 players on the opposite roof so they could potentially jump pad over. And then before we switched over to the 400 fight, we saw a double wingman pop out, and that's even more psycho plays coming through as Bam takes a lot of damage.
And they need to be careful here. A lot of teams still in the area right now. Holiday is going to go ahead and cover that entrance to make it a little bit more difficult to get in with that jump pad. The scans going down from either side. And see, this is why both teams are playing very cautiously now. Defensive bombardment is actually going to force them out. 2 of them going on over as the third finally does join. Good spray out from Holiday here, but still only going to tick for that armor damage. No knocks, unfortunately, for them. But they alleviate some of the pressure as it looks like Two Brains, One Controller are going to send some love back their way with that Arc Star. Scans out, and you can see there is a third team in the area. So both teams need to be cautious about how they approach this fight. Now that you run out, you see one on top of that building there over to their north, or to their south.
I really think, I think that Octane's really strong, right? There's a lot of great plays that can be had with Octane. If I was playing on a team, though, I would personally rather have a Wraith or a Valkyrie, Jamerson. I'm going to be honest with you because, yeah, the jump pad is great. It's pretty sweet, but this is one of those instances where you just wish you could fly out of there. Just drop your bubble, get out of there, because you're stuck in between 2 teams right now. And Lulu's Lemons doesn't understand that Two Brains, One Controller is going to come in third party this any second now, most likely. I'd be shocked if Two Brains, One Controller actually left throughout all of this. And they should be getting hopped on right about now unless they did dip. So that's just crazy plays coming out from RCO and Lulu's Lemons. Not only that, Two Brains, One Controller in the Vicinity 2. And there it is. The third party is going to come in. They haven't fully healed yet. And all these teams just basically griefing each other in Skyhook.
I don't know if another team showed up here to try and come in for the third party themselves, but a good Arc Star just keeps Two Brains, One Controller in check for the time being. As now, with how slow they're taking this, it's allowed Lululemons to just full heal up. Another defensive bombardment. Two Brains, One Controller again getting evicted from this roof.
And Slurpee drops. There's just miscommunication on where the bubble is going to be placed. Odd Freestyle waits to the very last second. And then I believe a Sentinel shot from the side came in from the very middle area of Skyhook. So there is a 4th team that's coming over here. I mean, this fight's been lasting ever since the beginning of the game, basically. So this is, in my opinion, a time for Two Brains, One Controller to dip out of there. They may try the same exact play that they did before. Come back over towards this building, all 3 players on the roof, jump pad over. But I would say it's probably time to rotate. I mean, look over towards your left. You can see the player outlines, and that's exactly what they're going to do. There's the brains of the operation, playing smart.
Yeah, they could just try and gatekeep from this position here. Of course, it is just the first ring. Teams will be able to heal up throughout it. But at this point, moving, I think, is better for them now, as we're already down to 17 squads. Let's go ahead and swap around to see what else is going on across the map right now. A lot of teams have to be posturing but around Thermal Station. Here's on board with Renegade for our first Tomcat Ratcam of the evening, and he is set up for an early winter.
Played Halo 5 with Radar for a couple years and was pretty good with that, so should be, decent if a Bloodhound comes and scans him. He should know how to run out of that one with Octane, so we'll see if he can survive a little bit longer. But going back and talking about the zone, I'm interested, once this zone closes, who's playing the very southern beacon building that is kind of in the bottom middle of the zone, because that could be a potential ending spot. And not only that, you're going to be able to hit the beacon over and over again. So if you're running like a Crypto Caustic or anything, just really in general, Valkyrie, Bloodhound in that situation, Octane, Wraith, doesn't really matter. I really think if it continues to pull south like that, that beacon building is huge.
And right now we're on board with Dudes Night Out, and I think this is an important thing to note for them. They're actually playing the northern side of Thermal Station for a team that took the 50-50 over at staging and took it rather quickly. I'm surprised that they held this position. They can go much deeper if they want to into the ring, but that indicates they're going to be playing a lot more for that gatekeeping position. But speaking of Thermal Station, here on the eastern side, we're on board with Team North Star right now, who do have a squad in the building just to the northeast of them currently, but they're not ready to make this push quite yet. They need to get a good idea of what's going on around them. They do have the crypto for that. They'll be able to, of course, get into the drone. Looks like he's ready to do that very shortly here, and maybe they make a push onto this squad.
This is a tough spot to be in because you are surrounded by a lot of teams. So North Star is going to be looking for armor checks. I think the first thing that they're going to do, just in general in these situations, is you get rid of the door. That means you can enter a little bit more freely. Players aren't blocking it, which makes things a little bit nuisance. You have opportunities to flank easier. And then you could just chuck grenades inside if you really want to. So I do like that play from North Star, and they do have an aggressive composition with crypto here. So if they do, send out an EMP, though, it's just a red flare into the air saying, come third party us, and the teams on top of the hill and the choke will start to collapse. So nothing much probably will be happening on with North Star here. I'd love to get eyes on the team that would be south middle in that beacon building on the very southern tip. If a team's not holding that building right now, this lobby is absolutely insane.
Here's Silver Fox. It seems like they were trying to camp a beacon here, but 2 brains, 1 controller. They were gatekeeping on the northern side of the zone. They'll be able to get up 2, and that's going to be a full 3. Squad wipe coming out from 2 brains, 1 controller, biding their time. Of course, not getting involved in the mess that was over by Skyhook now. But here is... looks like Silver Fox making their push. Bubble has been used now, and Z Davis is caught just at the doorway. Getting taken out. Helping's gone next, and just like that, Silver Fox is going to win out this team fight cleanly. They just need to pick up the 3rd member here. We'll see if they can find him. There he is going, and Vatro is going to chase after Exile and take him out. Wow, what an execution coming out from Silver Fox.
I mean, Jamerson, that's a really good team that they just took down too, and those shots were just absolutely ridiculous. You could tell this is a controller squad if you've ever seen one. I mean, the tracking inside of the bubble was just amazing. Vatro's obviously standing still, so he's going to be on a controller, but it doesn't matter. It's the decision-making. It's the timing. Just great
There's a full team
execution.
right there in front of him. There was a full team right there in front of him. He was standing still looting, of course, like you mentioned, on that controller, and they did nothing to him. He's still somehow alive. I don't know what's going on. But here's Vets Are Us as they're trying to hold this position on the respawn beacon just to the west of Sorting Factory right now. They are running the Rev Octane composition, but we haven't really seen this team on the kill feed quite yet. Crummy, Strictly, and Kimchi Lee. And the time for this Octane composition to be really strong is going to be right now when you're fighting on the edges, but they have not been able to make some ground or any headway whatsoever. Team stuck all the way over at Harvester, strangely enough.
The only thing that is a little difficult with Revenant is you need your ultimate to, do anything. And it's one of the only legend. I mean, crypto, you have so much utility, but, you don't really need the EMP to have, a little helping hand, and it's just so dependent on them having that and pushing here. So we'll see if they elect to do anything. I mean, they are on the edge, like you said, and this is what this composition's built for, is taking fights. So if they get initial damage, then they can push. But it really comes down to Crummy, and he has a Spitfire, and really, unless anyone's looking at you and they're out in the open, the Spitfire is not going to do any type of massive damage. So unfortunately for them, this is going to be a little difficult. You can see right there the trading of the Spitfire isn't really the strongest. It's more of a, mow people down type of gun.
Just watching his back just in case. You always have to be wary about Valkyries or balloons in this situation. You can see relatively close to 1 to their north as well. But as time ticks down with 2 minutes left to go, they should have their next death totem up. They use it as we joined on board with them. Crummy's just trying to get some poke damage off, but they're just trading away for their econ right now. Is going to elect to pop that Phoenix Kit instead of a Bats. Defensive bombardment going down as well, and Crummy's just going to wait this one out, holding this angle for now, just in case there's a push. He'll have the flank on them, but he does get hit, and so his information has been given away. They knew where he is. Here's Team Sign Us Please. This is a squad that I want to keep an eye out right now, as Aaron involved in a fight. Beast of the Hunt is going this entire time for Tempest. Wicked has to back away as he needs to heal up. Bubble's been used from either side right now. Tempest should have another scan for his squad. It looks like both teams are deciding to just back away, and you can see, sign us please. They note another squad in the area playing the choke to the northeast of Thermal Station right now. So sign us please. Haven't been able to get much going. The action has slowed down quite a bit here in the mid game for game number 1.
If this was like an Apex Arenas tournament, the last team I would want to go up against would probably be Sign Us Please. But the only problem with Sign Us Please is they could potentially play overly aggressive because they're so skilled and they get up in these fights. So that's why it's really important for them to be aware of the situation, put pings around, and understand, hey, we could get our kills a little bit later, and it's going to be a little bit more difficult than we'd hoped for, but we have to be patient, as we do see 2 Brains, 1 Controller going in, and they are looking strong with these double red armors. Already double knocks on Box T and nades, so feeling good about the situation, but there is a lot of action up here. Typically when one team starts to fight, that's when the third parties come in. We'll see if they can survive through this. Harbinger's full sending it. Oh man, going right past the bubble with the Arc Star on the outside. But oh no, it looks like they're too staggered.
It was just completely, it looked great. It looked like it was about to be highlight reel, and then eventually just became, you know, live stream fails there. But 2 Brains, 1 Controller now with at least 7 kills to their name. This is the comeback that we wanted to see. This is the kind of aggression that I wanted to see after day number 1. Here's the aggression coming out from Bets R Us as they are able to finish off FMS, and just in time as well. The ring should be closing up, and you can see the poke coming out from another squad just to their south. But now things are going to get a little bit dangerous. We know that 2 Brains, 1 Controller are basically on the other side of this. You have a Valkyrie squad going for the redeploy as well, just ahead of them now. They can elect to take the balloon if they want to try and bypass this choke point, but looks like they're just going to run this one in. Crummy doesn't have his jump pad quite yet, but he will have it shortly. It looks like they can just kind of wait here on the edges for now. They do spot out a team, and they go headfirst into one as we have Bambino and Pyramid taking out Oi Senpai and Shinny PC. So Anime Freaks will survive throughout all of this right now. The third parties are coming in, though. Ult Dimension has been right back up to get taken down once again. That's going to be Bursty showing up for Buff Pathfinder now. They take out one more, bringing this down to a 1v3, but we know a lot of teams are in the area. How aggressive do they get? Bursty now just tanking the gas. We'll go ahead and push up. He's got the L-Star. We don't get to see that one often enough, but it's paying off for him as he's able to finish them off.
Speaking of arenas, Bursty coming through with the L-Star over here, shooting paintballs over at people. That's RS. Surprised they didn't die the way that they full sent it over towards where their choke was, and they ran into Wicked. I knew that was going to happen for Dude's Night Out, or Vets RS, excuse me. So a really great job coming in from the gatekeeping squad over towards the side. But look at Kimchi Lee. I love these nades coming over just to buy some time over to, and it does connect 54 purple, but it looks like a third party does come in over towards the side. So Kimchi does have to back off. He does have the death totem, so that's really an unfortunate situation for Vets RS. If they could have got together, used that death totem, and made a push, that would have been great. This would have been the perfect spot to go and put that one too.
Yeah, 2 Brains, 1 Controller in the area. Of course, we talked about Sign Us Please as well. And now this is why when you're on the Tomcat Rat Camp, you cannot get away. Too many scans in the area. That's going to be Sign Us Please to pick that up. Synced with a quick armor swap there. Won't be able to heal up. Has the PK along with that flatline and red Evo. Will passively heal up as they start making their way on in. We're down to 8 full squads remaining now. There's also a drop for them to pick up just outside the train tunnel.
And they may end up playing the train tunnel. It looks like Sync's going to go and trek the side, but once he realizes that there's a team there, it's just, hey, peace offering. If I just offer you 3 cells, will you leave us alone? It's no for Odd Freestyle. That's the answer. So much damage. They need to push this right now. 2 Brains Controller has them on the ropes. It's a great time to just bubble forward for Odd Freestyle. They're not going to take advantage of that. That's insane.
I'm surprised bubbles aren't coming out from either side at this point, even defensively. Right now, 2 Brains, 1 Controller, they understand the situation that they're in right now. You can see 30 seconds for the ring to start closing up. They're keeping an eye on their skies just in case there's a Valkyrie rotation. And there is a team up top right now. As you can see, the scan going down. The nade's being thrown down as well, and so they'll be able to easily juke that. Slurpee still has the Beast of the Hunt popping. We'll have another scan in just a moment. Can throw that one down. You have to watch out for all the angles. Here's the drop down from that squad. We're not able to take advantage of it quite yet. Bubble has been used as Slurpee slides on through. He will now rejoin his squad, take the side, gets the knock onto turns as Odd Freestyle will take out Gibby as well. So 2 Brains, 1 Controller just absolutely farming this, but Tech has gone down, which is a very bad sign. This is Who is it? It looks like it is Dude's Night Out coming up, and Sinus Please as
Sinus
well getting
Please, yeah.
involved throughout all this.
Yeah, I had a feeling Sinus Please was going to stick around, and that's why if you're 2 brains, 1 controller, you have to deal with that team. You did so much damage, you could have easily bubbled forward and win that fight. I mean, 2 players were taken down to maybe less than 20 HP. That's an easy clean wipe as the team, and they probably would have survived that third party, potentially even win the game off that one. But North Star, they're getting into it over towards the side. Looks like one player is going to be taken out. That's the whole squad. As Ziploc Bags is around, and Gobble is eating a lot of damage too. That's going to be Bursty with the R301 still on that Valkyrie on Buff Pathfinder. Will he hit the res here? Looks like he's trying to bait it out. Alternator, obviously not the best weapon in this type of situation, only hitting for 16. And that team seems to be letting that res go off just for now.
There's the bubble to try and get aggressive, but they have not pushed up. As you can see, they note that the bubble has been used on the other side, and the push is basically over at this point. You have the full heal up as the scan goes down once again for Yo-Yo Joe. We're down to 5 squads, 14 players remaining. That means 1 squad is damaged currently as the ring pulls basically to this tower. A lot of this ground is going to be over that lava, though, so unplayable terrain is involved in this one right now. Buff Pathfinder, arguably one of the best positions. They've got a lot of cover to work with here. They've got some high ground as well. The nade comes out for Shrills. We'll see if it connects with that one.
Telling me there was no better weapon than an alternator in those 2 boxes. That's all I can think about at this point. I mean, come on. I mean, Gray Mag, alternator, you got 2 gold boxes in front of you. Just check them for me. Let me know what's in there. There has to be a R9.
Oh boy, looks like Dude's Night Out might be in a spot of trouble here. They've already lost out on 1. I don't know if they got their res. Here's XOXO. They've been a little bit more quiet this game, but have been slowly creeping up now as they try to make their move. They're getting shot up from behind. It's going to be Silver Foxes, really just almost griefing them on this rotation. AJ now trying to heal up with that bat, but they're going to start taking ring damage here. This could prove fatal here as he will go down. Turns picks that one up. Team XOXO playing off the high ground here with just the sliver to work off of as well. We got the 2 big boys in tow. Buff Pathfinder might be one of the best teams in position to try and punish them, but you can see there's a lot of coverage there on that high ground, and so Buff Pathfinder, they have the option to drop down here. They have Skittle Cakes' box to pick up additional loot. And that's surprising to see them go ahead and pop these barrels, Team XOXO, but eventually they're going to have to drop down, and do they have a plan for it? Will they have that Valkyrie ultimate to use to get in for this next ring, or will they just try and jump across?
They may have to just wipe the team to the left and then focus the team on the right, because the team on the left doesn't really have much cover. But no matter what you do, you're just really not in that great of a position because these 2 teams are down low and playing it fairly safe. So, you know, going back to Team XOXO, just getting here is phenomenal, though, Jamerson. Keep in mind, they had 2 players from 2 brains, 1 controller knock them. So there was only 1 player alive, and they were able to get double reses off, full heal. Not only that, get back to red armor. Now they're in the top 3, potentially winning this game if they could do some phenomenal plays. The one thing is they do have better armor than Buff Pathfinder. You could see triple red versus a blue and a purple, and now the team on the low ground is actually sending it and using their bubble because the knock happens. So I think turns drop down, and they may have made a play.
Yeah, the Nox gas grenade has been used as well. Team XOXO running out of utility here as the scan goes down. Right now, Buff Pathfinder with 4 kills would like to pick up more, but it looks like Team XO are just basically getting finished off by the other squad. So now we are down to the final 3v3. Buff Pathfinder ready to push up, but Peoples has taken a lot of damage there. We'll go ahead and hit that bat. As you can see, they're setting up for the crossfire. 1 going left, 2 going right. As Mass tries to challenge inside the bubble. Bursty will back away, bring this one down to a 3v1 inside. But the instant pivot on over from the rest of the squad, they've lost out on 1. Only Shrills is down to 1 HP. But Buff Pathfinder will be able to survive, and they'll take the first win of the day.
Nice job by Buff Pathfinder. I mean, you saw what the thought process for XOXO was in that situation. They said, okay, let's go over towards the left. Let's try to focus on the team that doesn't have the jungle gym. They seem to be a little bit more vulnerable. Problem is, every time you jump, teams are waiting for you. You get a little bit of gun punch, a little bit of delay when you're able to shoot, and good teams like that are going to take advantage of that. But great positioning from Buff Pathfinder. I mean, they went around, and we were watching them run around the map. They didn't pick up a ton of kills, but their positioning was great.
Yeah, and that's always important. Making it to the late game itself will generally net you kills in itself. So congratulations to them for taking the first game of the night. So we're going to go ahead and take a short break. When we get back, we'll have game number 2 right after this.
Pressures coming daily under pressure. Working on applying the scheme. The true sign trademark is at the edge of your dreams. I'm talking. Yeah. One shot, now the future is yours. I'm turning dreams into reality. In the mind with the formula and chemistry. Your memories spark and motivate and make the industry shake. Get the bars to the breaks. I'm talking one chance that was so good for the goal. It's one shot, now the future is yours. Go!
Imagine you love frosting and filling.
I do love frosting and filling.
Oh, well, imagine if there was a way to enjoy that delicious goodness anywhere, anytime, out of the toaster, out of the box, out of one of those baggy thingies, with nothing but a thin layer of foil between you and...
Pasta.
Yes, Curtis. This is a commercial about pasta.
I love it.
Frosting and filling for your pasta.
I like pesto.
I wasn't born in the spotlight. Nah. Had to grind and shine like a star on a hot night. And something about the struggle now resides in my muscles. And every trial and trouble helped to hang my hustle. Real rock stars don't chase the spotlight. It chases them.
Hey, shake it, kiddo.
Love Dad. Oh.
I've got this.
Kellogg's Rice Krispies Treats. A little love when it's needed.
No, I am not. I can hear myself really loud. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Yeso here. One game all set here, and 4 more to go, and was an exciting finish there. Buff Pathfinder able to play with some great positioning, patient there on the high ground, and able to grab the win. A couple of teams that we talked about on our standings at the top of the day, Team XOXO and 2 Brains, 1 Controller, having solid performances as well. Team XOXO getting into that top 3, some good fragging from 2B1C, so that's certainly the way you want to start the day, but it is Buff Pathfinder with the win. Let's check out our post-game stats here for our first game of the day. And Shrill's leading the way for Buff Pathfinder and surviving with the smallest sliver of health at the end of that game. Just 1 health to his name, but it was enough. His team grabs the win. Bursty with 5 kills there, and talked about it. 2 Brains, 1 Controller. Slurpee G over here with over 2,200 damage in that first game. So 2B1C. Still a lot of work to do, right? We were talking about, they didn't have the greatest performance in ALGS, and after 2 days of qualifying action, they were on the wrong side of the leaderboard, and they still have to make up a whole lot of ground, but if they can keep things rolling, have consistent performances like they had here in game number 1, they will give themselves an opportunity. And we also have to remember there's another 5 games tomorrow, so it doesn't all end here tonight. There's still more action to play, but they're running out of time. 2 Brains, 1 Controller cannot waste the opportunities that they have here. So very important to rack up as many points as they can here tonight. We still have 4 more games to go. We're going to go to a quick break, but when we come back, Jamerson and T-Squared will check out our leaderboard and get you ready for game number 2.
It's Jumbo. It's her snack hit. It's Jumbo Snacks.
All right, welcome back, guys, to Series E. We're getting ready for game number 2 right now of day 3 of qualifiers here for Season 3. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Mobile One leaderboard to see how all of our teams shaped up. We saw 2 Brains, 1 Controller fragging out, but they were not able to back it up with the placement points, but they find themselves in 6th place right now with 9 points overall. Our winners of that last game, though, Buff Pathfinder with 20 points overall. That's going to be 8 kill points to them, but Ziploc Bags did some work themselves. 17 points put them in 2nd place.
And you could see Team Skirt, who was doing phenomenal in terms of our overall points. That's an opportunity for everyone else to move up on that leaderboard. We know Charlotte Phoenix isn't here, so we'll see what happens with the rest of these teams. Like you said, 2 Brains, 1 Controller wasn't able to really capitalize on the situation when I felt like they could have advanced with the bubble, eliminated a couple of those teams. They had 3 kill points right there, some extra placement points because they wouldn't have died to that team. And then they had a couple of kill points get away from them when Team XOXO eventually dropped. So we're looking at probably, them sitting around 15 or 20 points, in my opinion, if they are able to execute that fight around the corner. So just a small mishap like that really has a domino effect on this lobby, and especially when we're talking about these thermal station zones, which are fairly unforgiving. So nice job to the teams that were able to pick up kills. It's not easy getting into thermal fairly early, and it's also not easy predicting those zones.
Yeah, and at this point, it's all about what we're going to continue to see out of our teams so far. Sign Us, please, a squad that I wanted to note, currently in 7th place with 6 points. But let's go ahead and take a look at the Mobile One high-performance moment of game number 1. And it does look like it's going to be a lot of the third-party fighting that happened on the northern side here. You can see Bambino with Ultimention going down on that Caustic. He throws down the barrels, but unfortunately for him, because of the time he took to try and pop those barrels for himself for the reset, he gets tagged like in the toe and he goes down.
And this is where we start to see a little bit of what Buff Pathfinder's capable of doing. You see the aggressive play, Bursty flying in with the L-Star, has the R301 in the back pocket, great damage out trading the Gibby as well. And you can see the armor swap not even happening as the last player is getting eliminated. All 3 kills there going to Bursty, so a really nice game by Bursty overall. But there's still 4 more games to be played, and there's a lot of points to be had as we take a look at our cumulative leaderboard. Again, it's 4 teams that are going to be making into Season 3 here for Series E, and it's all about those top 4 teams in the leaderboard. So we have 9 games left for these teams to make up their points.
Yeah, and so if we take a look at the top 4, that's basically what's the most important here. CHR in 1st place with 91, but XOXO have an opportunity now to try and grow this lead. Dude's Night Out still involved as well, 73 points. But I think we still need to kind of update on this one right now because Sign Us Please are still at 52 points, but we know they got an additional 6 in that last game. But yeah, this is a good look at what's most important in terms of qualifying for Season 3.
Even if this wasn't updated, you still get a good grasp on that, and that's what's important for these players to look at too, because we saw Skirt again not get any points, so they're going to be sitting over in that same exact spot either way. So really the team that I think that a lot of Series E teams are pulling for, because they're just such a talented team and they haven't been able to pop off yet, is 2 Brains, 1 Controller, and we see what they're capable of. We see the decision making for them. It's going to be interesting kind of following their storyline over towards that Skyhook team, since they have a lot of different teams in the area. Again, they had to survive a 50-50 mixed in with a 3rd and 4th party, and they had to go and rotate, and then the rotation was very strong. They got one of the game-winning spots. They just weren't able to execute.
Yeah, and so we're seeing them slowly find success on being a bit more aggressive there in the early game, and a team that we saw really try that style out throughout the latter half of Series E Season 2 was Team Intel, and they eventually found out how to not get third party as much, found the right moments for their fights. But here we go, joining on board with Team Sign Us Please currently. We're dropping here in game number 2 over at Frag West.
And again, Tempest, very strong support player, but also a really strong fragger in general. He's great at cleaning up these fights, but you also have great support coming in from Wicked. And then Sync is just such a great entry fragger. So again, this is probably the team I wouldn't want to face off in a 3v3, but here's Renegade switching up the spot. Remember, they were going for the early 50-50 last time over towards that staging side. This time, they're going to elect to go over towards Tree, and based on the positioning, it seems like Tree could be free. Oh, it looks like they're taking some damage, so maybe not. Renegade just really loves the loot.
Krillin's got to be careful here. You can see the full send out. Renegade has the nice angle on the flank here, and he's going to be able to put a stop to it himself, but he's only sitting on white armor. He is vulnerable for the full 3, but it looks like they are just kind of lazing about, which creates an opportunity now for RAK to turn this around. Nade's just a little bit short there. Krillin taking a lot of damage once again. Really, this is looking more like, you know, this the Frieza saga from Dragon Ball at this point, but it looks like he will survive. He doesn't need to get resurrected by the Dragon Balls, and they're going to be able to fend them off. But do they get third-partied here? As you can see, this zone pulling down to the south once again. It looks like this is going to be a tree ending here. So RAK in a really tough spot. White armors, and they're going to be in an area where they can't get as much damage off for free. But here's 400 over at the northeast side of this of the map currently at Refinery, trying to get some damage off. EMP was used. Pop bottles will have to back away. Sung 400 was one of the squad that went down early on and in that last game, and it looks like they might go down early on here as well. Clinical getting the first knock, but it's a 1-for-2 exchange. Now Harbinger's pushing up. It's all up to that lone Wraith, but he will fall. And it's the first squad going down. Harbinger's picking it up once again.
What happened to that awesome arc star that was thrown directly at the door? It looked like they just ran right through that one. Unfortunate there, as Harbingers is going to take advantage and then fly around and try to see how many teams are in the vicinity as we get a good look of where this zone is going to pull. You can see a little bit of tree, a little bit of thermal. Again, that southern beacon building, right kind of where Renegade's name is, that A in Renegade, could be a great spot to go and hold. But it is a really tough situation for RAK to be in because they, like you said, are running out of resources. They're probably very low on cells. They're very low on ammo. They have gray shields. And now you have to deal with another great team that's coexisting with you. So things are going to get really weird for RAK, and they're electing to go and continue to loot over towards the thermal side. So a really risky play coming in from Renegade. What they have to understand is probably not all 3 players are going to be over there. So if they're going to push this, they could have an advantage. They're not going to go and do that, and now they're just stuck in no man's land.
Yeah, trying to come up with a plan for this ring now as they're going to continue to jump on in. It doesn't seem like they were able to pick up the ring information as well. So this is a little bit more blind, but they're picking up much needed loot. Unfortunately for them, it looks like Renegade took some damage there. Team from the south side as they're trying their best to get out, and this is why they didn't go to the eastern side. 6XZ's in a fight right now. Always Senpai is the first one to go down. Season 1 wingman down, and now Nicholas Cage match finished off early once again. Nades constantly just keeping pressure on the other squads, making sure the third party does not come in, and 6XZ's, they pick up the +3 along with a full reset.
I think they want the third party to come in because they are in absolute shambles right now if it did come through. 6XZS is feeling pretty good about that fight. I mean, that's a very talented team. You can see, like you were talking about, Jamerson, Nades is doing a great job of keeping that beast of the hunt active with hitting all the scans at the right time and at the right area. I mean, he could have easily been focusing on over towards his north side. Instead, he's focusing on the southwest side. And now you're going to have a good bubble fight happening here. And if Nades is able to get a good head glitch and they're able to get initial damage, I wouldn't be surprised to see if they go and throw an octane pad and go and push this one. But that team is going to back off now that they have used a little bit of the resources. And we all know that RAK, is most likely continuing to just be basically a 3-man Tomcat Rat squad if there ever was such a thing.
I feel it. I mean, rats live in nests, right? Or it could be like the king rat from 30 Rock, where they're just all joined at the tail. At this point, though, they did survive. That's the most important part. They are able to rotate through thermal right now, playing inside the center of it. On board with Sign Us, please. This is where basically we joined on board with them in the last game as well. They were hovering around this area just outside of Harvester. Jump pad has been used, surprisingly enough. But really nothing to come of it. So maybe it was thrown down beforehand by another squad, but here they go, moving into the choke. At this point, they don't want to be caught out basically in the same position where they were punished in the last game.
I'm interested to see how they're going to play this one. Are they going to get aggressive? But it really depends on the situation if these two teams decide that they want to fight. So it's most likely just going to be constant scans coming in from Nades, and if they see that there's a team that is, if this team ends up splitting up a little bit, that's a great time to go and push in. But at the same time, there's this internal clock of knowing how long it would take for these two teams that are actually duking it out to go and try to clean it up. So there goes the bubble coming in from Wicked. Tempest takes a little bit of damage over towards the side to be able to get that fast tilt throughout all of this. But we saw how active this area could be when their third parties come in from around the chokes from both sides. 9 times out of 10, there's teams waiting to collapse on this, so there's double bubbles coming out.
They already got shot from behind as well. You gotta be careful. Dude's Night Out now, throwing out the airburst nades to try and catch one out. Arcstars as well, as the full bombardment goes down very close and will connect, do a little bit of shield damage, and it's just a lot of posturing coming out from both sides as Dude's Night Out are just gonna call it here and give up the position. They don't want to fight over it because, like you said, Tom, a lot of action typically taking place right now. Skittle Cake's just styling mid-air. I mean, looked like something out of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater there, but they're gonna go ahead and fully call it on the retreat here. They can back away to the respawn beacon buildings here on the northern side. The scan as well, beautiful for them, giving them full information. It is going to be vacant for them to take control of these buildings.
Yep, that was a really nice scan, and it's so important to hit that because you don't know if a team like RAK and Renegade, they're going to be posted up in here just kind of waiting and setting up for an ambush. So something as small as that gives you great peace of mind for your team as you're making these rotations. But I agree, getting out of here was the right play. You don't really know which team you're going against, so that's what you kind of test for. It's like a boxing match where you kind of just get a little feel for one another, and then you realize, okay, this team is a little respectful, so we're going to back off and just try to make another rotation throughout all of this. And the question is what kind of rotation will they make? They have Valkyrie. They have a lot of different options, so we'll see what's available for them as we hop back on board with XOXO.
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of feeling for each other on this weekend's boxing match, a lot of hugging and a lot of... Anyhow, Team XOXO are playing over here by Tree currently, and you know, they haven't been able to pick up ring information, but this is continuing to pull basically that choke between Thermal Station and Tree. And so riding the edge here, especially when you're running the Valkyrie composition, can be fine. You have your options for your rotates to go over the mountains if you so need. It's Dude's Night Out, though, that are playing on top of the sniper post. It looks like they did use that Valkyrie ultimate to get over here as well. You can see 18% on that. Tangy used has 46% left on his defensive bombardment, but Verhulst, most importantly now, has that Beast of the Hunt, as a lot of action should start making its way over here. The game has slowed down quite a bit. We're still at 18 squads here in the second ring.
Yeah, the players are playing this at a very high level right now. You love to see it. Everybody is kind of surviving off of their 50-50, skedaddling to certain situations, backing off away from potential third parties, relocating and waiting for other opportunities to come towards them, as Skittle Cake's doing some serious damage with the bow from range. 2 brains, 1 controller. Interesting spot to be in. They do have the extra scan for us too, so we get an idea that it does continue to pull over towards Thermal. So let's see what type of play they're going to elect to make. Again, they're rocking Valkyrie as well, so another team composition change here. I believe Tech was on Octane before this.
Yeah, he was, and try to get a little bit more aggressive, but again, you see the power of that Valkyrie. Last time around, they got a little bit choked up at the choke point, and so they're going to elect to run a comp that allows them to avoid it if they so need to. But right now, it's all about playing gatekeeping more than anything else. They're on the other side of that dynamic here. As you can see, Slurpee G, he wants to get a little bit closer for that scan, push up to the rock, but of course, the charge rifle coming out from all the way on the other side of the map, essentially, here, and so that's going to force them back. Slurpee G does have that Beast of the Hunt if he wants to try and go for it once again. The movement speed might help him out up against that charge rifle. But this time around, he's going to wide swing to the right to try and find an angle here. Hits for the 45, but he's only got the blue armor himself, and so he gets absolutely cracked. Somehow survives as Odd Freestyle is able to get that bubble down for himself. Here's Harbingers. They were the team that were trying to push up. EMP has been used by Lightstar Joe, and there is the jump pad as Clinical tries to get involved, but he took a lot of damage mid-air now. He is on top of the roof, and the bubble has been used. It's going to be Tech to get the first knock here. 2 brains, but controller trying to fight back, but Nemusona is able to get a re-knock there, as now it's down to a 1v2. We'll see. It looks like 2 brains, 1 controller should be able to finish off Lightstar Joe and get the res, as it looks like Tech is trying his best to climb on back into the building, and they will be able to get him up.
Really good.
ultimate accelerant here.
Triple take here.
Bogey in sight.
Enemy over there.
Thing. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for sticking with us here in our patience as we do have a bit of an audio issue, but it's okay. We got Yeso here in the studio ready to sub back in and keep things rolling. So we're on board with Sign Us Please right now. 14 squads left and the ring closing in just about a minute here. Wicked and Tempest along with Synced trying to get things rolling here. They're just going to loot up a little bit. 37 players still alive. We were just looking at 2 brains, 1 controller, and that's a squad that needs to get things rolling. I think they had a solid start to the day here, but as I mentioned during my last segment, they need to be consistent. They have a pretty wide point gap to try and make up. So meanwhile, Sign Us Please just going to hit this balloon, look for a bit of a rotation, 25 seconds until that ring closes, and seems like they're anticipating a bit of a contest here as they get in. So they're looking to kind of make up some of this ground in the air before they close in on the circle, drop on top of this building. They'll have scans here from Tempest, so we'll see. They don't seem afraid of any players nearby as we jump over to XOXO. And just an update, there was just a bug on our cumulative standings graphic. Team XOXO actually in first place right now in cumulative standings by a single point. They're up at 92 to CHR's 91. So currently Team XOXO in a great position to qualify. They're going to take some shots here. They're holding on top of the building with the dome shield down as 2B1C. Slurpee going to go for a heal. He's got that med kit. They're taking shots. They're in a rough spot right now as that's going to be an arc star doing quite a bit of damage. A lot of players going down as there is Freestyle getting knocked by Thick Boy Otis, and it's big trouble here for 2B1C. Slurpee going to try and hit the battery here. They're hoping they can buy a little bit of time as this ring finishes closing, but here comes the push. Tech trying to get the high ground here with the jetpack, but his teammates are getting roasted. Down goes Slurpee, but able to get a knock there onto North Gobble, but Tech's in trouble. He's jetpacking everywhere, but not shooting anybody. He's going for the battery now as he's on low health. Both of his teammates dead. And now it is just Tech left here as we swap over to Dude's Night Out. And that's going to be Skittlecakes getting the knock onto Alex. As here comes DNO. Good damage at range. Skittlecakes doing work with this Spitfire. Meanwhile, Verhulst looking to push into this building. Just spraying through this door. They're going for the push. He's got the Eva 8. That's going to be the knock. Mask goes down. Gobble is down as well thanks to Skittlecakes. And that's going to be the wipe there for Dude's Night Out. Huge fight for them. Down to 9 squads. We are out of the double digits. And we are starting to run out of room. You can see that next circle going to pull to the west side here of the current zone. So in the moment, it looks like DNO in a great place. Now swapping over to 6XZs. Wazizzy going down here. Big trouble for 6XZs. And Nades coming in for the assist. The Eva 8 shots. He's going to go down as well. Big trouble here. Box it to the last one left. Last one left, and they're going to go down. It's Sign S, please. So they're going to go for the res here. Unsynced, so they will be able to buy a little bit time. They're up here kind of the northeastern corner of this new zone. And they seem to be alone for the moment. 7 squads alive, 16 players. So that's 5 players missing from those squads. Meanwhile, we jump over to RCO here. And with the triple take PK, that is quite a loadout there for the Gibraltar. They're looking to get down to the southern part of the zone. Looks like they want to kind of play around those rocks on the southern edge, but it seems like, yeah, they've spotted out 6 XZs holding that position. They're considering a push, but nothing yet. They're kind of just holding the edge of the zone. The good thing for them is they can maintain this spot on the ridge for the moment, and it appears nobody is at least willing to contest them at close range here for the time being. They spot out another squad, and things are going to start to get really interesting. At least one Valkyrie left alive, so we'll have to keep an eye out for that ultimate as the action continues. Man trying to do some work there, as that's going to be Tempest taking out Sharoom, but SeriesE, please, in a little bit of trouble. They're going to climb up, get inside this dome. Tempest is going to go for the battery here as Wicked. They're looking to get closer to this next zone. Less than a minute until the next ring closes. Synced. Hits the battery. He's got the Kraber. Plenty of shots left on it as well. So the interesting thing, though, is as this zone closes, that Kraber gets a little more interesting to use as close range. You're maybe looking to swap over to the Volt, and that player is going to escape from the clutches momentarily there, as we're down to 4 squads. Wicked able to take out Moon, another kill point there as we jump over to Skirt. Exile here in trouble, is able to get a good shot with the PK, but goes down anyway. Helping is finished off. That's RCO with the wipe, but they get wiped and turned right away. Skittle Cakes and Dude's Night out getting some more kills. Skittle Cakes with 7 frags right now. The current kill leader, he's got that red armor and he's looking strong. Gonna hit a battery here. Was trying to hit shots with that Spitfire at range. And DNO looks in a fantastic spot. They're going to get behind these containers. The real question is, so they've got the Valkyrie ultimate available. I'm curious if we could swap over. Okay, Wicked does have the defensive bombardment. That is, no, that's, okay, that's Wicked on SeriesE, please. I'm curious if we could switch over to Tangy. I want to see if he has it available here as well. He doesn't. That's a huge advantage here to SeriesE, please. Big shout out to production. Thank you to our observers there for swapping over to that. So ultimate advantage here for SeriesE, please. Okay, this is going to get really interesting. This defensive bombardment could be a game changer. Really, if you're SeriesE, please, you're looking to force out the dome shield from DNO and then use the defensive bombardment. But we'll have to see how it plays out, because Dude's Night out in a great position. They're able to hold behind these containers. They're in the zone, so they aren't afraid right now. They've got a good spot. Good rockets there from the Valkyrie. Good shots from Tempest. Oh, here comes the push. Synced coming in. They're inside the shield. They're probably looking to push. Oh, good shot with the Kraber from Synced. He doesn't care how tight the circle is. He wants to go for the push with the Volt. Here comes the rest of SeriesE, please. They want this second game. Tangy in trouble. He's the last one left, and that is it. SeriesE, please, with the dub. What a finish there. SeriesE, please, taking a huge win here in game number 2. One of those squads we were keeping an eye on to try and climb up those standings and break into that top 4, and they're going to have a huge opportunity with that win there. Thanks for sticking with us, ladies and gentlemen. That's our second game done. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have more SeriesE qualifiers action for you.
Stack Pringles flavors. Make new ones.
How much do you think Pringles paid these people?
Hardly anything.
Hey, you guys want to stack different Pringles flavors to create new flavor combos? Here, I'll go first. Pizza, barbecue, and jalapeno. The spicy barbecue pizza stack.
Get him!
Grandpa, what's going on?
Pringles. We're trapped in a Pringles commercial. They must have taken us in our sleep.
How can we get out?
We can't, Summer. They warned me this would happen and I didn't listen.
Stack Pringles, make endless new flavors. Stacking Pringles to make new flavors. Make endless new flavors. Barbecue, wavy, and sour cream, and onion equals a 3-layer dip stack.
Fruit flavored splash. It's fruit refreshing.
Hey, shake it, kiddo.
Love Dad. Oh.
Kellogg's Rice Krispies Treats. A little love when it's needed.
Cheez-It snapped. How's it taste? It's so thin, crispy, and cheesy. And I just want to keep eating it. And eating it. They love them.
Snapped. So good we may run out of cheese.
I wasn't born in the spotlight. Nah. Had to grind to shine, like a star on a hot night. And something about the struggle now resides in my muscles. And every trial and trouble helped to hang my hustle. Real rock stars don't chase the spotlight. It chases them.
Welcome back, everybody, here to Series E. It is our qualifiers for Season 3, and it's Day 3 of action. Still one more to go tomorrow, but we got our second game done there, and things continuing to shake up in the standings. We'll check those after our next break, but let's take a look at our post-game stats here for the second game of the day. And obviously, it was Sign Us Please there with a huge win in game number 2 as they're looking to climb up our Mobile 1 leaderboard to grab that top 4 slot and get into Series E Season 3. Synced leading the way for them, so well played. Dude's Night Out also with a very good showing, getting into that late circle. Skittle Cakes looked cracked. He had that Kraber doing some work. DNO, 7 kills there for Skittle Cakes, so well played. And over 1,700 damage, just below 1,800 there for Skittle Cake. So good performance. DNO, not as impressive in the first week, but starting week 2 strong and looking to keep it rolling. 3 more games left to go today and 5 more tomorrow. So just 8 games remaining in our qualifiers here for Season 3. So every single point, every single game matters. We're going to go to a quick break, but don't worry, when we come back, we got Jamerson and T Squared back and ready to bring you more Series E action.
All right, welcome back, guys, to Series E. Unfortunately, we had some technical difficulties there throughout game number 2, so we weren't really able to catch that. So let's go ahead and take a look straight at the Mobile 1 leaderboard to see exactly what shaped up and give us a better understanding of what happened there in game number 2. We still have 3 games left to go, so you know, there's still a lot to be played for tonight. So let's go ahead and look at the Mobile 1 leaderboard.
Ooh, look at Sign Us Please and Dude's Night Out all tied up for first place. You love to see it. And Sign Us Please coming through with the dub in game number 2. And that's going to be exciting to see how Two Brains One Controller continues to do as they're pumping up some points now. But double thermal station zones, I wonder how things are going to go. I mean, we know that the zone loves to continue to pull towards that south side. A lot of the players are like, when are the zones going to go over towards the north-hand side? And I mean, you got to get ready for that. That's something that continues to happen, and you got to make your adjustments. And Two Brains One Controller definitely made that adjustment from game number 1 to game number 2 after they failed to pick up as many points as they were hoping for.
Yeah, so that should be a 13-point game for Two Brains One Controller, and I believe that's a 21-point game for Sign Us Please, who, well, I'm trying to remember if they had 9 or 6 points after game number 1, but good signs for them once again, building off that momentum they had off of last Thursday night. And if you're a team like Team XOXO, one of the few teams in the overall, along with Dudes Night Out, wow, Sign Us Please are now within the top 4.
Yeah, and if you could, Jamerson, since I've missed a couple of days, could you refresh who CHR is for me? I'm really curious which lineup that is, because they're obviously a team that's most likely playing in the ALGS, so they're a little tired probably from competing all weekend, and most likely want to just have a day to kind of watch these teams evaluate and see how many points they're going to need for the final one. But here's the Mobile One high-performance moment from game number 2, if y'all missed it.
Yeah, CHR are going to be Obey Alliance there. And this looks like it is the final moments of game number 2. Sign Us Please versus Dudes Night Out. And you can see Sign Us Please able to make it to the end there with at least 5 kill points. And now this team fight win would be an additional 6-point swing in their favor, especially for a team that did not compete on night number 1. Full tanking a missile barrage there, but this beautiful angle. Tip is just all the way in the back, getting ready for this push, and shooting them all as they go in, forcing out the bubble now, forcing them back once again, full reset. This is just tactical, strategic team fighting coming out from both sides.
And you could see as soon as Sync gets that 145, that's more than enough damage to go and send that one. All you got to do is just exactly what that play was. Full send that, take an angle, slide through, spray around the corner, hope that you're going to hit the player that's actually weak. He's able to hit both of them there with a little bit of each in his clip. He gets the player down, sees that he's flesh damage, also gets an armor check on the other player. You saw the great shots from Tempest like you were talking about, the tracking across the map. And that's the positioning. That's how you play that composition. You need Sync to go in, full send, be that entry fragger. You need Tempest holding it down, hitting scans, and then he comes in and helps clean up the fights. And then you need that glue in the middle, the Gibby that's going to come through like Wicked does and throw down a bubble and make sure that he's ADSing as much as possible in these situations.
All right, now as we head into game number 3, we had Sign Us Please. After 6 games, and I believe overall that's going to be 11 games played throughout our qualifiers, they find themselves within the top 4. Remember, they missed out in the first 5 games, the first full night of qualifying rounds, and they're here already with 72 points overall in 4th place position. And with 2 of the top 4 teams starting off today, not competing in the qualifiers tonight, that leaves a huge window of opportunity for other squads to catch up now. Teams that are starting to build up the momentum. 2 brains, 1 controller. Didn't have a first great 2 nights. Now, this is their opportunity on board with winners of game number 2 with Sign Us Please once again over here at Fragment West.
I hope everything's all right. I mean, I don't understand why the players would elect, even if they're sitting in the top 4, not to play in these type of situations, because just adding on, a smidge of points, 15, 20 points, even bringing your, B or C game should be more than enough to continue to advance. But look at this, 3 games in a row, 3 different drops, and 3 times just getting really ripped apart off of the spawn. And now it's up to Krillin to try to make some sort of hero play, flying in like Batman, coming around the corner, but this 3v1 most likely not going to work out in his favor.
Yeah, nope, he's going to go down, and that will be Nick Cage match picking that one up. We'll see if any teams are in the area, but this is happening so early on in the round, there should be no third parties. If anyone, it would have been 2 brains, 1 controller, but they're still over at Countdown right now, as the rest of Train will get looted up, and so Nick Cage match won't be able to full heal throughout this one.
That ping
looks
is
like
perfect.
a lot. Yep, we have the ring going up to the north now, as you can see teams pinging down the beacon building just outside of Skyhook on the eastern side. That is where Sung, Ford, and Pop Bottles want to make their way towards, especially coming from Epicenter, so they'll have one of the fastest rotations. Ford, you can see minute 40 already on the rotate as Ziploc bags find themselves a little bit of trouble, as it looks like they were trying to get aggressive, quite possibly over by Train, but we know that the squad's already there over there. Nick Cage match, who won their 50-50.
All right, which is your favorite team name, Jamerson? Because we have a couple of good ones. Nick Cage match is hilarious. Anime Freaks. What was the other one? There's another really good one in here, but between those 2, which one are you feeling?
Oh, I'm definitely, in the camp of National Treasure Nicolas Cage match over there.
I agree. It's hard to beat. Ziploc bags is a pretty good one, too. See what they're going to be able to do. They're having a pretty good day so far, but speaking of that zone, over towards this beacon building zone, this is a really, really fun zone to watch. It's a fun zone to play. If you get inside that building, you're feeling really good, but this creates a lot of action. There's not many places to hide. So you're going to see a lot of fighting on the edge. You're going to see a lot of fighting on over towards the chokes, especially this choke that Ziploc Bags is going towards right now.
There it is. We do have, it looks like, 2 Brains, 1 Controller. They do make their way rotating over to Train to try and punish Nicolas Cage match, just backing up off of this one. We've got to see, I don't know how much of the broadcast was actually, you know, on for game number 2, but Tech had some really fun moments when he was getting 3rd, 4th partied over by Thermal Station, where he was just juking around with the Valkyrie passive, really showing off what you can do in terms of juking people. But looks like they're looking for their early game kills, chasing all the way into Fragment West right now. You can see the information coming out from SeriesE, the tracking information there for that Bloodhound. But this is going to be a bit difficult to push. The bubble has been used on the other side, though. And so they're just going to go ahead and full send it, one on top. Ooh. And they just need to go ahead and establish themselves on the roof. And SeriesE, with that audacity, will force them back down to the low. As he gets that bat off, they should be ready to push on down. Scan out, and they recognize it's actually 2 full squads. They got to be careful here.
It's the power of the scan, and really interesting play to go over towards that roof. Fortunately for SeriesE, it does work out, and I love that SeriesE is using the wingman in these type of situations and feeling confident about his shots as he's going to drop down now with the R9 combo. Let's see if he's going to connect with the wingman. He does. 3 in a row right there into the back of box of T. Now he's looking for the finish with his teammates in case they want to continue to loot, pick up some armor swaps. You have a down player directly in front of you, so that's going to be more resources. And you know that these players and teams are now split up. So aggressive third party coming in from 2 Brains, 1 Controller. And you were calling it, Jamerson. They love to rotate through Train Station. They saw the early 50-50 coming through, and they're going to take advantage of that.
There's still a team stuck down below them as well. Inside, what is it, the dugout part of construction?
Yeah, dugout,
the dip,
whatever.
But they can't quite push it yet. Jumping down onto the low ground can be a little bit scary there, and finding yourself inside that ditch. Sometimes, you know, the wall mounting can be really tricky, strangely enough, in that area. But SeriesE is actually clearing out the angles, and he's cleared out the building ahead of them, so they can continue to push forward if they want to. They should drop very shortly to rejoin him. He's going to be there with the scans as well, pushed all the way even over towards the diner building. And so he's a lot forward now, but Freestyle will be able to join him with that jump pad.
They ratted, and they're going to be able to pick up that banner as 2 Brains, 1 Controller passes that. And that little divot there, that little ditch, actually is a pretty viable spot if the zone ends up pulling over there towards the fence. That's one of the more priority positions that you could lock down. So the fact that they read that out as a 2-man squad and are going to be able to get that banner, the respawn beacon building should still have that respawn over towards the top. They're going to be able to get all 3 players back involved. So really heads up play by the 2 members of that team as we hop on board with Harbingers. And you can see not the most ideal situation, a team coexisting right next to them in the building. Don't have very good armor on this side. Don't have your EMP. So this is going to be most likely a little bit of a slow play as they do get Nick Cage matched back into possibly a 3-man squad here, as we were talking about. They ratted out. There's that res beacon we were talking about. And just a really great play by Nick Cage match. If this was Kings Canyon and they weren't dropping Cage, I'd be upset.
Everyone drop Cage. TSM's going to be there. Reps rotates out of this. Anyhow, it looks like 2 Brains, 1 Controller do find themselves in another fight. And so this is the prime opportunity for Nick Cage match to try and get back in. Oh boy, it's going to be Sign Us, please. Try and finish them off. Synced picks up 2. SeriesE does get the knock onto Synced, but the damage has been done. Third party is here. Open the door. Peekaboo as they do get the res, but will the read-off come out? Synced goes down, and Vets R Us picked that one up. It was the full Octane Rev push coming out for Vets R Us. They will take them out. Huge play coming up from Vets R Us to knock out the top dogs in the lobby.
And they're still looking for some more action because they have a little bit left in that depth protection, but there it goes away, and there goes the loot that they can get. The res should have been happening throughout all of that for Nick Cage match over towards the construction building, but they're going to be interested in possibly coming in, getting a little bit of these scraps that are being left as we jump on board with Ziploc Bags. This is the team. I think there's 3 teams over towards this Skyhook side, so this could be a potential third party.
They have jump padded on over, but it looks like the team has moved on to the western side now, and so they have to continue to give chase. Luckily for them, they left behind some breadcrumbs. Another jump pad there for them to use to take this high ground now. Gobble does take a lot of damage, but the bubble has been forced out. Ziploc bags, already 4 kills to their name, quite possibly more. Want to find another one here. Another nade going down, but that squad has plenty of buildings to just leapfrog from and make it over from cover to cover. If they want to try and avoid them, they could just go over to countdown for the rotate and avoid this fight if they want to. You can see it doesn't look like they're ready to fight, especially challenge for the high ground here, or even challenge for this world drop.
Going for the drop is a great idea. I mean, the only thing that you're worried about if you're Ziploc bags is that someone's going to eventually come in behind you. That's going to be a mobile respawn beacon, but as long as no one comes from this east side or over towards your west side, you're going to be A-okay, and you're pressuring that team in front of you in hopes that they're going to eventually run into another team as they're making the rotation forward. So I like that aggressive play coming through. Unfortunately, they're not picking up a lot of kills, but they were rewarded with that world drop like you were talking about. So going to get back on board with a team that's been flying around on that crypto drone for quite some time, most likely looking where that next zone is going to be. And you see these teams kind of posturing over towards Skyhook. They are kind of hoping that the 50-50, instead of going over towards the respawn beacon past the choke, that it's going to go back over towards this side. So it's tough to call. It really is. I mean, that's what the value of the crypto is in these situations.
Along with the Valkyrie compositions, right? We talked about it. If you need to get past the choke, you can just go ahead and use her ultimate. She's a recon hero herself, so she can pick up beacons. Ultimate value is turns with a beautiful spray, taking out Clinical now. Bubble has been used as well as they charge forward to try and finish him off. They did leave that player behind, so it'll be just a moment for Team XOXO. Do get this thirst onto that Gibby. But Team XOXO, one of the many squads that are still over here at Skyhook right now, going for that challenge once again. Gibby is making some good headway. Might make it over to his team and get back up. Clinical is trying.
Oh, he actually gets finished by another player, so XOXO is going to love that, but that's also going to say, hey, there's a third party throughout all this, and that's a window. Can't shoot that through that one. Found that out fairly early in World's Edge, but at the same time, I mean, just great spray from turns. The tracking was phenomenal. They understood, even without a Bloodhound, that the team was going to go and make their move. And now they're continuing, like you said, to leapfrog into the building after building as all the teams start to get filtered towards one another. And again, the more clear that you have your back throughout these situations, the more viable a third party is in your favor. So I do like the way that XOXO is playing this.
They got the armor swaps thrown down as well if they need more here. And we're getting a better look of this as Vets R Us are still fighting over at Fragment West, and they've got themselves a little bit of a nest egg there as they get the first knock. Cheers, Hate going down. We're going to continue to push as it's strictly from the high ground. What happened? Oh my goodness, you saw even the jump pad actually making that nade bounce around in really strange ways. They do lose out on Crummy. They need to go ahead and go for the full peak to finish this one off, and they will take them out. Here's the quick res as well, pulling out the armor swap for his teammate. So beautiful reset coming out from Vets R Us as we have 30 seconds as round 2 closes.
What Crummy said, scumbag. Screw your armor, dude. Doesn't matter. I'm going to go and hit a Phoenix kit. I don't care that you were being a great teammate. Crummy. Can't believe you did that. RCO, they're making their way over towards, like we were talking about, either side they could play here. And we're wondering, is this going to pull Skyhook? Is this going to pull Beacon? They obviously could rotate over towards the choke where their team is going to be. But holding this does give you the option of owning both sides. So I do like this play from RCO. Someone was bound to go and pull this one off. But once you start getting these scans, once this pulls over towards round 3, and it does go over towards the Beacon building, now they say, okay, we have our play. Let's decide how we want to do this one. A lot of different options. You could play underneath the building, which is really annoying for the team on top. Or you could eventually just hold this choke and watch your back over towards where you just came from. So I do like this play from RCO. They played that very well.
Yeah, they've got the jump pad, so they can, if they need to, just use that jump pad to try and instantly take the roof of that building if they need. There's a lot of team presence, as you can see over on the other side of the train tracks. There's another full squad and moving up currently. Nass did get a knock onto Oi Senpai. There are shots coming in from behind as well as Ziploc Bag still holding on. Trying to get valuable ring information for ring number 4. And this one starts pulling away towards that train tunnel. So a circle that we got to see a few times throughout Series E. That's going to be 400, trying to make this push onto the squad below them. Bubble has been forced. Sung, utilizing that angle from the high ground here, is going to be forced back, though, because of that defensive bombardment. You can see pop bottles holding control of that roof right now. Sung has that jump pad as well set up for them to retake this roof as well. So just a lot of posturing. Weren't able to find much, but you have to commend the effort to try and get aggressive on this squad.
Even if 400 had this beacon and was able to get a scan on where zone number 4 is going to be, there's not much they can do, because if they advance, then they're going to eventually sandwich themselves in between RCO and the team that's holding down the final position right now. So the best thing to do is literally what they are. Add pressure all over the map. Hopefully no one flanks you from that skyhook side, so maybe you keep a player on the roof to kind of anchor through all of this, as the rest of these players that can get aggressive, Sung and the Bloodhound on the team, could go and scan and hopefully run into a situation where they end up sandwiching a team, and that's exactly what's happening.
Here's the push now from Team Skirt, but Helping has to be careful, left by himself. It's a 1-for-1 exchange, as it looks like Exile will be the only one up, but they need to go for the quick res here, and the scans already come out, and oh boy, RCO is looking to come in for that third party now. Exile trying his best, but he will get taken down. A lot of damage going across RCO there, surprisingly enough. Looks like a lot of airburst nades just landed right on top of them. It was Dude's Night Out patrolling this side of the zone, and I got to see them in zone number 1. They were actually still over in Skyhook, Lava Fissure, around that area, looting up throughout all of this. They might have taken trials, quite possibly. Vets are us, though, as they're going for the reset themselves on the eastern side of this zone. Strictly will be able to pick up a 3-man, or at least 2 for himself. Bubble out now is going to be used as they're trying to go for the reset here. Kim Chi Lee with the high ground. The shots ring through. Defensive bombardment does not connect at all, but buys them enough time to at least go for the heals here. He still has that high ground angle. And this is one of the strong suits, parts about running on the eastern side of the zone, on the eastern tracks. You have this really ultimate high ground here that can be incredibly hard to challenge.
Really nice angles coming in from Kimchi. Also some great spray coming throughout all this. And the high ground is phenomenal, because you're going to be bullying a lot of these teams into one another. And this is what we were waiting for, is the zone to close on zone number 4. And just some absolute bloodbath happening all over the place. Vetsaros popping off right now with 11 kills. You can see the rest of the teams not even close to that. They double up the number 2 team Ziploc bags. And these chokes, both sides, are going to continue to just be an all-out, just brawl, Royal Rumble over towards this side. There's a nice knock right there onto Bam from RCO as Dude's Night Out. The spray is looking phenomenal. The tracking looks super strong. Taking out the scout, using it like a shotgun. Can he finish off that second player? Holiday is going nutty. Now it's up to Skittle, who's been one of the main slayers for this team, is running very low on health. Will the third party come through? There's the armor swap from a red to a purple. Got to get this one up in the next 45 seconds, but there goes the scans over through the tunnel. Unfortunately for Dude's Night Out, most likely not going to survive out of this situation. Could be a crazy Valkyrie play.
Yeah, we'll see how good the shots are mid-air, if he's started popping that or not, or if he's waiting, because the third party is there. Coming in the knock onto Sung, and now you can see Nicholas Cage match. They were able to recover. They're here on the southwest side to finish this one off, or even Prowler in the hands for Shinny PC, as the Valkyrie is going to try and get out, but Skittle Case will get finished off. We're down to the top 7 squads now. 19 players left. Nick Cage match finishing that off with just a little bit of time to spare. 9 seconds left before the zone starts closing, and Shinny is desperately looking for an armor better than the blue for this late game now. Still a lot of fighting taking place over here at Skyhook. As you can see, Team XOXO in the middle of it. Turns get the first knock. Nimbus going to go down. And they're going to have 2v1 advantage as they slide right into the barrel, and that Crypto is not happy whatsoever. Harbinger's getting finished off. Clinical is the only one left alive, and Team XOXO going to make a superhero's exit right there, as they'll use that Valkyrie ultimate to just get over that mountain.
Wow.
They'll probably just land up here, take the time to heal up a little bit, and then drop down.
What a big play right there from Team XOXO. I thought that they were all griefing each other and going to die, but the plan was, let's try to get these extra kill points, get that extra placement point, then Valkyrie out. Because even if we try walking towards that choke, we're going to be getting gate capped throughout all of this. So Nick Cage match, who came over from that choke area, now they're going to take over towards the respawn area. Oh, big shot coming in from Pop Bottles onto Senpai. That's going to be a Domer Simpson. And that's going to be a flank coming in from Vets R Us. We already know they're having a solid game.
They had a great position as well, but Crummy goes down. I believe their death totem was already used, and so now they need to clean this up quickly before any other team shows up. We've been seeing how quick teams have been to react for the third party, making sure no one's been able to really heal up, but it looks like Crummy will get res. They get the thirst as well onto Season 1 Wingman. And Crummy survives for the time being as they go for the full reset. Now, Pop Bottle's still alive for 400. He was the one that started all of that with that Kraber, as it looks like Clinical will finally get finished off. Pop Bottle's still playing this aggressively. He's playing this one like he's a 3-man. He's trying to take this 1v3 right now, putting fear into them. And honestly, I love how he's playing this. This is not the Tomcat Rat Cam. This is the Chad Cam coming out from Pop Bottles here as he's trying to pop off. He's already hit top 6 for his squad. If he can survive just a little bit longer, that'll be an additional placement point for himself. He goes in for this swing. He might have found another rat on the other side. He did get taking a loop for just a moment here with the PK. He actually loses out on the 1v1 to Shinny PC.
You can see the strength of the EVA 8 really in that situation against the PK. When you're not able to kind of wiggle peek and just take your angles, the PK doesn't do that much damage in that straight one-on-one fight in the open like the EVA 8, especially with the purple bolt. So nice job there coming in from Shinny from Nick Cage match. And we'll see if this Kraber is going to be useful. It's not. Crummy with the shutdown right there. And now we have 3 squads alive, all 3 full.
Yeah, Ziploc bags, I believe, were they the kill leaders? Or I don't know anymore. We'll take a look at that in just a moment. But it's Vets R Us that currently have the highest kills in the lobby right now, as you can see, pulling over towards this train tunnel. Very similar one. We saw Team Intel win out this circle towards the latter end of Series E.
They played that so well
right
too.
Now. It was beautiful how they played that one out, Tom. But it's Vets R Us who have great coverage and great angles on both of these teams here.
They're kind of forcing these teams on top of one another. The big thing right now for Vets R Us is to watch that right-hand side. Exactly. Got to check that train track. That train track surprisingly has a really strong head glitch when you're going up against each other. It's fairly even for both teams on how to use that head glitch. But if you decide that you're going to take that head glitch, if you're Vets R Us, you're going to get lasered from the side. So this is a pretty interesting situation as you have Team XO inside that train tunnel. That is kind of the team to watch right now, because whatever side they decide to go is going to be where a majority of that pressure is going to be, and that's where the third party is going to happen.
Yeah, Vets R Us still doing a great job of corralling both of the squads into each other, providing themselves a little additional cover as well with that mobile respawn beacon. The Valkyrie missiles will force them back just a bit, but really, those can be difficult to land right now. They've got the death totem for this. Do they have the defensive bombardment as well? It's the big question. How much utility will they have for this late game? The death totem itself, though, providing themselves so much additional HP could be absolutely massive. But here comes Ziploc bags trying to push in. They are underneath, but the nades are coming out, forcing them out here. Again, the Vets R Us need to continue to apply pressure here. Wait for these teams to start engaging. You can see it's a very tense situation.
You know what could be a crazy play here, Jamerson, would be Death Totem push into these teams, force them to fight, then you back off over towards where that end zone is going to be. And that could be the play right now for Vets R Us if they wanted to do that. Again, both these teams kind of coexisting, adding the pressure would make them think that you have an opportunity for a third party. They obviously know that there's a Revenant in this lobby, but it takes an extra second or two to realize that it's the Ghosties pushing you. As, a huge silence comes in. Look at that silence on a Team XOXO.
That's absolutely massive, especially for a squad that wants to rely upon its utility. It means no more barrels, no more bubbles. Ziploc bags, though, completely avoid that for now, but they are now stuck underneath the train tunnel here as Kimchi Lee takes that tunnel. He's got the death totem if he wants to drop that, but he doesn't even need it. The Prowler doing so much damage for him as the full send out now as Crummy gets a knock onto Gobble. And now they're just biding their time, watching them slowly bleed out. And you can see one does make it past them, and they might actually get punished for it. Kimchi Lee goes down, but Vets R Us will be able to secure that W. And they did it off the back of a beautiful silence coming out from Kimchi Lee.
That's a huge game from Vets R Us right there. Excuse me while I fix my mic. So, yeah, I mean, the fact that they picked up, 11 kills when we were like halfway through the game, then they continue to add on pressure. They pick up more kills towards the tail end of the game. That could be, potentially a 30-point game for Vets R Us.
And importantly, of course, we saw our lobby leaders, both 2 brains, 1 controller, along with Sing Squad Sign Us, please, going down very early on, leaving the field wide open with 2 games left to go. You're not going to want to miss any of the action, so stick with us while we take a short break. We'll be right back after this.
I wasn't born in the spotlight. Nah. Had to grind and shine like a star on a hot night. And something about the struggle now resides in my muscles. And every trial and trouble helped to hang my hustle. Real rock stars don't chase the spotlight. It chases them.
It's fruit-freshing, refreshingly sweet, but without sugar, 0 calorie treat. Now all our top flavored splash.
It's fruit-freshing. Team, it's been a grind, but I think I've aged you well. Some might say perfect. Who's ready to show 'em who's the cheesiest?
I woke up feeling the cheesiest, coach.
Cheez-It, official sponsor of the college football playoff.
Imagine you love frosting and filling.
I do love frosting and filling.
Oh, well, imagine if there was a way to enjoy that delicious goodness anywhere, anytime, out of the toaster, out of the box, out of one of those baggy thingies, with nothing but a thin layer of foil between you and...
Pasta.
Yes, Curtis. This is a commercial about pasta.
I love it.
Frosting and filling for your pasta.
I like pesto.
Hey, shake it, kiddo.
Love Dad. Oh.
Kellogg's Rice Krispies Treats. A little love when it's needed.
Welcome back, everybody. 3 games down and just 2 more to go here on day 3 of our Series E qualifiers. All these teams battling it out to try and get into Season 3 of Series E, and it has been a tight contest. Let's check out our post-game stats here for our 3rd game of the day. And obviously, it was Vets R Us strictly leading the way. Also, Crummy, formerly of Team Rockstar, on that squad. So good performance there. Kim Chi Lee leading in kills, 11 kills, getting into the double digits. That's a pop-off game from Vets R Us, who have a big gap to make up here in the standings. Strictly, though, 2,600 damage in that game, so certainly leading the way for this squad. And again, they still have work to do. Thankfully, they still have 1 more day of play, but they have to keep rolling it out when you don't have points racked up in those first 2 days of qualifiers, and it's about getting those cumulative points, getting up to the top of that leaderboard. If you're starting behind the 8 ball like Vets R Us are, you have to be consistent, and you have to be consistently very, very good. So they can't, you don't necessarily have to have 11 kill games every single time, but if I'm Vets R Us, I'm looking to get 6 to 8 kills at least every single game and try and break into that top 10 consistently here with just 7 games remaining in qualifiers. 2 more remaining here tonight, and we'll get ready for game 4 after a break when we rejoin Jamerson and T Squared.
Versus coming daily under pressure. Working on applying the scheme. The true sign trademark is at the edge of your dreams. Yeah. One shot, now the future is yours. I'm turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the formula and chemistry. Your memories spark and motivate and make the industry shake. Put the balls in the brakes. I'm talking one chance, I was so good for the code. It's one shot, now the future is yours. Let's go.
All right, welcome back to Series E. We have to really check in with the Mobile One leaderboard as, like we said, the leaders after game number 2 were taken out very early on. We saw that aggressive style getting punished there in game number 2. And so it should be a new leader at this point. So let's take a look at the Mobile One leaderboard. It is going to be Vets R Us now in first place with 47 points. Ziploc Bags in second place with 35. And Dudes Night Out now in third place with 34.
Yeah, it's Vets R Us. It's not like some weird new org named Vetsrus or something along those lines, even though that's kind of a cool name. Maybe we'll see some orgs that name. But Ziploc Bags, Dudes Night Out, sign us up, please. All really talented teams. XOXO is right there. Buff Pathfinder, who won, I believe, game number 2. As we take a look at our cumulative leaderboard and find out just how much work some of these other teams have to do, like 2 Brains, 1 Controller, sitting in 47 points in 12th place. Jamerson, what do you think of this leaderboard?
Yeah, this is great, especially for a squad like Vets R Us. This is the third day of qualifiers, and now they've already found themselves in the top 13. If they can have 2 more extremely strong games and really start challenging now for the top 4, that would be great to see. But we're looking at, like you said, XOXO, Dudes Night Out, CHR, and Sign Us, please. This is why it's so important to show up to every night. Remember, we do have our qualifying games that happen. We have 2 lobbies running before these games itself take place, and so maybe CHR didn't make it through. Don't know. Let's take a look at the Mobile One high performance moment of that last game.
It could be. I mean, we know how hardcore they are when it comes to playing Series E, but this was where things started to get interesting with the huge silence right there from Kimchi Lee, I believe it is. On to, I think, all of Team XOXO. I mean, just look at that. They're all forced in. They're taking slight damage from that. The big thing is just winning this fight against Ziploc Bags, but you can see everybody's filtered in. And what better gun to have in that type of situation than the Prowler? So Kimchi's just doing so much damage. I mean, look, already seeing it 9 kills, perfect position, just showing that Revenant is extremely strong. I mean, we saw it in the ALGS on day number 2 from My Little Phony. It was very well played. And now Kimchi Lee is doing a great job on Vets R Us.
Yeah, super important. 20-second silence in a late game when the circle has about 1 minute and 20 seconds left to close. That is an absolute eternity when it happens at any point in the game, but in particular, that late game where you're running a Gibraltar, where you're running a Caustic, you both have your ultimates, you have your bubbles as well. Not being able to utilize the defensive tools there absolutely negates everything, and it was just a beautiful setup coming out. We saw even before the circle started closing, Vets R Us, we're setting up the game plan, forcing both the teams right on top of each other.
It's key to filter those teams into one another, and I really think that focusing the right-hand side was great for them because, again, that's the big head glitch angle that could have potentially been taken. And then if someone does start to kind of scoot and own real estate on that side, they're going to feel confident and say, this is our opportunity to swing on this team, which is in the best position. We'll try to win that fight out and then focus on the other team, or at least just get that KP, because you know that you're going to have to make some sort of desperate play there. And you don't want the desperate play to happen onto you. That's how you end up, eventually get griefed or whatever you call it. But you could stop yourself from getting griefed in these situations by playing aware and eliminating a lot of the RNG by focusing at the right spot. So that's just a really heads up play by Vets R Us, and they're looking like Vets. I mean, it's pretty crazy to think that without them playing the full time, and the same thing with, Sign Us Please, that they're doing so well. And that's going to give them a lot of confidence going forward. I mean, they're playing really good as a team. You're seeing the thought process that's coming through. We also had a zone that finally moved away from thermal station, so hopefully we continue to get that.
All right, and we're heading into game number 4 now. 2 games left to go. There's a lot on the line tonight. We have $1,000, of course, $700 going to first place, $300 going to second place, and we are on board with RCO. We had a lot of fighting taking place over here at Skyhook. A lot of teams kind of banking and hoping that the circle ended here, but it did not. RCO was one of those squads caught up in the mix-up of, it felt like, maybe half the lobby was here in Skyhook.
Yeah, Skyhook had so many teams to start, but that's where the original 50-50s were kind of beginning too, is I believe Nando's going to grief that into a blue bot, so no one's going to be able to pick that up. Skyhook is always one of those spots where you don't really know what you're going to get unless you constantly drop near these teams, and that's a interesting zone. Lava City, it should be pulling over towards where that beacon building is, so they're going to be loving seeing that, especially that rotation out of Sorting Factory. Not going to be that far coming through, and when you just win the previous game, you love seeing the zone pull towards your side.
And we'll see how quickly they decide to move on over there, or if they even try to maybe play the edge. But you can see the pings going down. That is full indication that they're probably going to move quickly. Ziploc bags, though, on the opposite side of the map over here at Lava Fissure. A lot of pings going down. Volt 301 currently for Mast, but it looks like he might want to pick up quite possibly that G7 Scout for himself, as you can see Gobble is trying to loot up as quickly as possible, but they're going to go ahead and go for the balloon rotate. This is a little bit scary on this timing here, as they're going to be making their way towards, it looks like maybe over towards train station. And we know that with this timing and with how close they are to 2 brains point controller, they can run into them here. Might be trying to avoid them, as you can see, keeping an eye over at Countdown now, and they're giving it a wide berth. They do not want to run into them.
You can basically triple balloon, I believe, from this spot, so this may end up working out in their favor, especially because they left, I believe, around that 1:40 time on the clock. Is a nice spray coming in from Ferocity. North Star is in perfect position on top of these buildings. You have to hold this roof, and the goal is to hold these teams off as long as possible, and they're doing a great job because so many different teams are going to eventually push. They have the weapons for it. They have the utility, using some nades and some nice thermites directly behind that truck. Kobe comes in, doesn't connect, though, as Cheers just needs to land a couple of 30 shots, and they may be able to send this. Also, EMP's coming up at about 5%, so if you're going to take this fight, you basically have to take it in the next 5 to 10 seconds, otherwise other teams are going to start pushing you. And while they're focused on this team, that team is going to skedaddle over towards the bottom, which means that whole backside over towards where the geyser choke is could have been available for other teams to push in, and that's how it starts to happen. You really put your focus on one side, next thing you know, everyone starts flooding into your area.
Zed keeping an eye on the stairwell. They need to maintain control of this roof. This is a squad, though, with the crypto that don't have to absolutely play it here on the roof. It's going to be easier for him to chain these beacon scans over and over again, but they have given up the loan. They have to be careful about that, and right now Zone 1 will close, and we have a much slower game than we had in the previous 3. There were a number of 50-50s. This time, not so, as it looks like all the teams have established themselves. On board with Dude's Night Out, though, is Tangy. They were caught on the rotation, moving through Harvester here. Bubble has been used, and that's going to be the Valkyrie exit coming out from Dude's Night Out to just continue their movement to get into the circle.
I like this play. I mean, you got to go around this giant Harvester area, but you should be able to get some really nice flight pathing. Looks like they're going to rotate into sorting, and then they're going to have to go from sorting over towards the beacon building or through the choke. So we'll see what they elect to do, but I like avoiding this fight, continuing to try to get better opportunities for yourself, because Harvester is definitely going to be a third-party central, and they are a little bit split. So Skill's going to have to wait for his teammates. He's going to have to check over towards his back, as FMS, one of our teams that I believe is sitting in the top 6, top 5 area, are locking down the 3- or 4-story building over towards the side of Lava City, which is another great spot. Potentially, if it decides that it wants to pull over towards here, you do have, I believe, map drop directly behind them too, so they're feeling good about that situation. They've also picked up one of the only 2 kills in this lobby, as Crummy's finding one over towards the side. North Star, it looks like they get pushed from the bottom floor team, and Cheers is going to have to get a res, so unfortunate there, but it looks like they are able to reset.
Ooh, almost got that. One clip on him. Has to be careful. Another player behind him here as he rejoins his squad, and so the res did come through for them, but Cheers will go down. Ferocity does trade back, though. It's a 1-for-1 exchange, but he has almost no HP. Zed needs to hold this one down, and he does. Taking out Bambino. Strictly will get finished off as well. Here's North Star looking for the thirst, but they need to start focusing on just getting the reset, and now Zed is left by himself. Z Davis coming in here in exile will finish that one off. Vets R Us were involved throughout all of this. You can see they lost out on Strictly. Unfortunate for them. They looked like they tried to use the death totem there, but got absolutely caught up in the scramble now as Kim Chile pushes through. Does pick up that banner, can get out if he needs to, and he will keep moving.
Kimchi's a freaking god over here, just maneuvering all over the place, and it's going to be a thermite. Oh no, taking him down at the very end. The good thing is Kimchi is the absolute homie for getting that banner. We'll see if Crummy can stay alive. I think he's going to be able to get Revenant back into this one, so Kimchi going to be watching from the sidelines. But if Crummy can at least get one player back into this one, that's a start. Is Tane knock on to SerpG. That's going to be Odd Freestyle getting finished off. Unfortunately for Kim Chi Lee, he doesn't even make it on the Tomcat Rack Cam, as he can get dropped over towards the side. But Dude's Night Out, nice rotation. Also finding themselves in a nice position over here towards Sorting Factory.
Yeah, they'll have that beacon to play off of as well as they continue to play the edge here. The scan's going down. Beast the Hunt will end for Verhost here. But yeah, this is just such a prime spot for them. Here's Anime Freaks as Bambino will be able to recover or be recovered by Pyramid, and they drop back, and they do have a number of options for that respawn, but of course in this area where a lot of teams are rotating through, it can be difficult. You have that mini dome to the north, and it looks like they will go for the reset there, try to get him back on in. Pyramid with the stim beacon will move for that, but recovering can be extremely hard. We can see though, Sign Us Please in a little fight themselves. They got the knock and the instant thirst onto Apathy. Continuing to play over here at Harvester. We keep seeing Sign Us Please over here. Eventually they're gonna have to move into Sorting Factory, but they do have their options left here as it is just zone number 1. I said the action has slowed down, but no, it's really picked up and it's keeping up pace so far. Great shots with the triple take. Unfortunate, no knocks for them though.
Really nice shots coming in from Sign Us Please. They're feeling the momentum. I mean, triple take, massive. A super deadly combo here from Wicked, and you can see he's experienced with the triple take. He's lining these shots up directly at the right time, and looks like they're going to start to make a rotation because they're feeling confident about the damage that they put. But Jamerson, I know you play League of Legends. Hear me out. A legend that can pick up death boxes and toss them. Just saying, that'd be wild. I don't want to see it, but imagine.
That'd be absolutely insane. I'm just actually thinking about that right now, and I'll absolutely love that. But here we go. It's Krillin. Oh no, RAK in some trouble here. We haven't seen much out of them throughout the day, as they have just been getting chased down so far. Sign Us Please looking to bounce back after that game 3 that they're probably not happy with, going down early on, losing the lead now, but this is good for them. Good recovery, picking up some early kill points for themselves and some loot. They're playing on the edge, and I think that's exactly what they want to do. Just go for as many kills as possible.
He is living inside of this death box right now. Absolute ridiculous looting coming through, but those triple take shots were phenomenal. I mean, Wicked is so good at tracking, and again, that's a team you don't want to face in a 3v3 battle. But Dudes Night Out, they're fighting another 3v3 battle. Portal used, Bubble used. You can see the ADS coming in from Skittles. He's not interested in super chasing, so they're going to check their back here. And again, playing on Valkyrie, so we've already seen some good rotations. We already see some heads-up plays. You can afford to, overextend just a little bit, but you still have to kind of make sure that nobody is flanking over towards the side and you're not giving up free real estate on any teams that are potentially rotating through. So one player, or at least 2 players, maybe going to focus back on that west side, and then another player going to watch somewhere else on the map. Odd Freestyle actually getting dropped by Clinical there throughout all of this. We'll see if Odd Freestyle is going to get back into this game, but there's RAK, and when we're wondering why this game's so slow, it's because the 50-50s weren't actually happening since RAK was like we found a new place to land. But Renegade going for some crazy plays. He's going to drop Wicked, looking for some more. Does kind of take down at least a player and a half throughout all this, just as a solo, so nice job.
Yeah, it looks like Season 1 Wingman was the one that got the knock, and here comes the send. I was wondering when the third party was going to come. Wicked, instead of going for that res, he's going for that heal now. Great nades coming out from Tempest to keep them at bay, along with that scan. They'll have the Beast of the Hunt very shortly here, but how much longer can they survive? Well, they've done it. They've actually forced them back, so beautiful, beautiful heads up coming out from Tempest there with the nades to force them back.
Also, gold backpack res too. Big plays coming in. Still, for such a kind of weird game, I mean, I would call it, because it started slow, it's picked up a lot, but then these teams really aren't fully dying, and they're backing off from the third parties. So we still have 17 squads alive through all of this as Shroom GG gets the knock onto Alex. Not sure where that is on the map, but we're going to stick on board with Sign Us Please, because there's one of these teams that are making their way over towards the top 4, and there's the fight we're looking for. Moonshrooms, that's 2 knocks now, and looking for some more as the finish is going to come through onto World GO2. So one more team gets eliminated, that'll be the first placement point I believe that we're going to see. But Moonshrooms haven't had an opportunity to watch much of their gameplay. Overall, pretty nice shots from them.
Here's Sign Us Please in another fight now on the southwest side of the zone. Here is Synced having a little bit of difficulty, but will be able to finish them off. Now this is Sign Us Please doing what they did really last week as well in the game, in the latter half of the qualifying nights, where they started picking up the momentum, picking up a lot of kills here in the early and the mid game now, but on board with Dudes Night Out. as they do have another push going on over at Sorting Factory. The scan goes down. This team is completely separated, and Skittlecakes himself go ahead and back off. Bubble has been forced, but he's been lost a little bit in the sauce there. He's got to be careful, and that team somehow reconnect and survive this push.
That was just such unfortunate timing there for Skittle. I mean, any other legendary besides Octane, and he's having a pretty good opportunity, but this team is running around like chickens with their head cut off, and that's why these scans are so important coming through. Looks like the grenade is going to be used. You're going to have a defensive bombardment as well, and it looks like a possible bounce out from Dude's Night Out. I don't think they're interested in fighting this. Maybe they're going to take a flank, charge up over towards the roof, but no, pings say otherwise. Looks like they're going to play the blue boxes, focus on their rotation. And it's about that time. I mean, they could have danced around for maybe about 20, 30 more seconds there, but then you put yourself in an awkward situation where you don't know exactly how hard you're being gate captain with that. Ooh, nice shots coming in from Sung. Hitting for that headshot, but there is a player down towards his bottom left on the player outlines as well.
Here's 2 brains, 1 controller. They were actually looking for the third party, I believe, on that fight up against Dude's Night Out, and so this is why they opted to just back off. Shinny PC's gone down to odd freestyle. The thirst will be there for Tech, so it's great to see 2 brains, 1 controller bouncing back off of this one, finishing them off. We're down to 14 squads, 40 players remaining here in zone number 3, and 2 brains, 1 controller. Even though they're on the edge, they have to be careful. They're still taking a lot of damage from this ring. They will be able to walk this one in. It looks like he's gonna go ahead and use a replicator, but sign us please right now. Number 1 kills in the lobby. Silver Fox, Skirt, Moonshrooms, and 2 brains, 1 controller all have 3 kills themselves, and so sign us please. It's not over yet. You still have a lot to play, so you got to keep up the momentum here, especially for a team that have some catching up to do in the cumulative leaderboard, along with the overall leaderboard, or excuse me, tonight's leaderboard.
That was a glitch, right? In the graphic, I mean, there's no way they're playing Watson. I mean, are they? I haven't seen any fences, but you never know. I mean, Watson has fallen off big time. You don't really see it used often in ALGS so much, but it's mainly because of the fluid playstyle that's constantly happening now with the amount of bloodhounds that we have, the scans, the EMPs, et cetera, all really counter the play that Watson has. So I'm personally enjoying this meta a lot more. It's nice seeing diverse team compositions, diverse play styles, and a lot of different options in terms of what do you want your entry fragger to be. We all know Gibraltar is going to kind of be that staple almost in every single composition, but you have a lot of room for a lot of different plays. We've seen caustics being used, wraiths instead of octanes, so it's really interesting to see what everybody wants to use. Even Revenant, again, the use of Revenant is so much stronger when you're the only Revenant in the lobby, in my opinion. So I like the way these teams are going about their strategies. Huge damage coming in from Shroom. Again, haven't seen much Moonshroom's point of views, but when they are going off, their shots are looking good. I mean, Shroom, the tracking is just on point right now with the R301, the EVA 8 shots, and they are going to wipe over towards the side fairly clean.
Yeah, Dude's Night Out. Now left to just a solo here, surprisingly enough. They were having a great time in the lobby, but not any longer. Moonshroom showing up here for game number 4 so far. Looking for more people rotating in. They're looking for that third, but it doesn't seem like they'll be able to find him. I don't know if it was a Valkyrie rotation that went wrong or what, but here's Harbingers, as they will be able to finish off Slurpee G, but you have to be careful as another team is behind them inside that tunnel for now. Nemusona taking some damage. Clinical trying to go for that full reset here, as Harbingers will find a moment to heal up. They've got now plenty of coverage to work with, but Nemusona is still getting pressured as get hit up, and you can see now they will turn their attention to that tunnel behind them. Do not want anyone taking that, but the 30-30 repeater, not the greatest for cleaning up some left behind tools there, and we'll be able to get that off, but they have to start worrying about now their rotation. With a minute left to go, they can try to push into that tunnel if they want, but the other option is just to push north. Of course, you can see the pings going down for themselves. Looks like they will go north.
Not gonna lie, I just had to Google what Harbinger is, and for anyone that doesn't know what it is, it's a person or thing that announces or signals the approach of another. So yeah, just dropping some knowledge for y'all in the chat, and maybe everyone else did know what that was, and I'm just tripping. But I like the way that they're playing, and we've seen, again, crypto compositions being fairly useful, but now's the time to make some plays here, Jamerson. You are absolutely done for if there's a team inside of this tunnel, and oh, Skittles just ratting it out. Tomcat Rat Camp. This is not a bad position to be in, actually.
Yeah. He was the one that was able to get out throughout all that, as Moonshrooms are going to go for the full send with 10 seconds left to go before the zone starts closing. It looked like they got a knock and really wanted to punish it, but they let the res go off. There should be the re-knock, Nando to go down, but they lose out. Holiday once again coming up for his team. RCL left into 2v2 as Shroom comes in, and this was just a staggered fight for Moonshrooms, who were taking teamfight after teamfight. This time, though, Holiday cleans it all up, but it might have just been a full grief on either side, as Bam did get finished off, and Nando will not get healed up. Here's Sign Us, please, though, left to just Wicked, and you got it. There is that Watson left in this building, as it's just Wicked trying his best to survive. It looks like Synced might be able to climb over towards him to get that res. We'll see if this team decides to push. The bubble gold bag res coming out to keep Synced in the game.
Got to keep Synced in the game. He's going to be your entry fragger throughout all of these, but if you're going to be playing any zones, I mean, the Lava City zone is a good zone for Watson. Anything with the buildings, fragment, skyhook, etc. Great spot to be in. And really pesky situation to be in right now for Sign Us Please, because you don't have the scans to come through. So basically what you're doing is you're just playing defensive. You have to wait for an opportunity, a third party, or for someone to send on to you, and then you hopefully win that 2 versus 3. But Harbingers, they've made their move. They've made their play. Somehow throughout all of this, they've gotten to one of the more powerful positions, but holy damage, Vatro just ripping them apart. Clinical with some good damage too, but man, just one clipped immediately.
It looked like someone was trying to do their best tree impersonation there, and it seems they will be able to get this res back onto Nemusuna. We're down 10 squads, 25 players remaining. A lot of action here in Lava City now, as a lot of teams have to make their exit. This ring pulling on over as Synced is able to find out a rat, takes out Mask. This one is pulling on over towards that train station now, and Sign Us Please still playing this one like they are a full trio, going for these peaks, trying to do some initial damage. We'll see if they have the jump pad to get out to try and just make it on over, and they are pinging that roof, and so they might actually have it here for this rotation now. It's still a little bit tricky, as he is getting it lined up, but they should be able to make it over with one jump.
They may go across the bridge onto the opposite roof and then yeet it across, but before they do that, they have to make sure that this team doesn't shoot them in the back as they're making the rotation. So add pressure onto this team, pop the ultimate Excel so you can try to get that when you do make your rotation over towards the top of that roof. So you won't, even if another team's on top of that roof, that would be, that'd be pretty bad for you in this type of situation. But you can't be the first team onto this roof while all the other teams are going to be playing the outside. So the timing here is going to be crucial, and it seems to be working out here for Sync. They're not getting shot at. That's the big key. They still have their bubble. There's a Valkyrie team full setting on them. Are they going to be able to... Oh, there's a nice bubble, enemy bubble. So Wicked's bubble is going to go away second, but Sync sends it like a psycho.
What is Synced doing? He's just going full send onto it. He even wants to take out Wicked throughout all of that, but they do establish themselves on the rooftop. You saw, as soon as they saw that Valkyrie ultimate, that's when they called it. We need to hit this, and we need to land before they do to make sure we can fire upon them. They have full dominance now over the rooftop here. Defensive bombardment has been used. Now they have one of the best positions. You can see that ring ending just outside the train tunnel to the northeast. So they'll be one of the last teams that have to drop down for this ring. So they can bide their time now, but they have to be careful. They need to keep their wits about them. There's still a lot of octanes in play, and so that high ground is not completely free for them.
It's not completely free, but it's a little bit safer than a potential zip line that comes in. You should be able to catch it. And there it is. There's the play. The bounce pad is going to be used. You can see all three players, if we can hop back on, are going to try to take that roof. And now we have a standoff from roof to roof. But if Sync, if it showed me anything, he's a madman. He's going to full send this. And I mean, Jamerson, to me, this confidence that Sync is playing with, also the urgency that he understands the situation now. And he just feels so strong in this lobby, just bullying these players down low, taking down Mollis. I mean, he's always been one of the more mechanically gifted players we've had, so good at tracking, great individual slayer, but that play and that confidence that he showed just to get those three players off of the enemy roof is huge right now, as Wicked is answering as well. And Sign Us Please, with just two people, Tempest has to love what he's seeing right now.
There's a bloodlust in both of these players right now, but it's a controlled one, which I love to see, because Synced isn't getting completely lost in the sauce, right? He's still maintaining just kind of his kind of veteran status. They've been competing in Apex Legends for 2 years now. You can see another squad going for that Valkyrie ultimate as well, getting challenged for the high ground, or quite possibly even no. I'm going to go ahead and try to survive for as long as possible in the air. Bubble has been used, but with this slow circle, Wicked should have another one up in time. It was Team Skirt that tried to take that roof, but they're back down on the ground. Wing clipped. Sign us, please, with once again full control over the rooftop here. So many teams inside the train tunnel somehow. We have 3 teams stacked on top of each other inside the building itself. We have another team just outside on the train tracks. And then, of course, the top dogs currently on the ultimate high ground. It's Sign Us, please. We're just absolutely beaming everyone who's trying to challenge for the high. Skittle Cakes does go down, and now we're down to our top 5 teams.
You can see right there from the picture-in-picture the opportunity that is in front of Sync and Wicked. EMPs used, bubbles all over the place. You have Z Davis holding that corner with helping, but it's a triple layer cake right now, and tons of teams underneath the bridge fighting, so it's going to be a very last-second push. They could drop down onto the second level if they wanted to. You can see both those players are actually weak right there, and they're going to go and do it. Sync takes that high ground. Wicked drops the bubble while they're still holding this high ground, forcing the other teams as well, and that is huge plays coming. Look at that. Sync is still full health. Wicked still full health. They're coming through in the middle of the bubble, taking some zone damage, and they somehow take the dub.
God, Sign Us, please. Beautiful play coming out for them. Full control over that late game. It was just a masterclass on how to play that out as a duo. Beautiful, beautiful job coming out from them, especially after game 3, which they probably wanted to redo. This was it for them. They should be able to take back the lead, especially with how many kills they were able to pick up there. We'll find out, though, as we're going to take a break. When we get back, it'll be the final game of the evening right after this.
Imagine you love frosting and filling.
I do love frosting and filling.
Oh, well, imagine if there was a way to enjoy that delicious goodness anywhere, anytime, out of the toaster, out of the box, out of one of those baggy thingies, with nothing but a thin layer of foil between you and...
Pasta.
Yes, Curtis. This is a commercial about pasta.
I love it.
Frosting and filling for your pasta.
I like pesto.
Welcome back, everybody. Game 4 all said and done there, and Sign Us, please, with another huge victory, trying to solidify their spot in Season 3 of Series E. Your host, Yeso, back here in the Esports Arena Orange County Studios. We're ready to check out our post-game stats here for our 4th game of the day. Just one more remaining here tonight, then 5 more tomorrow to decide who will qualify for next season of Series E. Obviously, Synced leading the way here for Sign Us, please, and grabbing kill leader as well. Look at him. It's just a clean sweep. Look at this man. Kill leader with 6 kills, almost 3,000 damage, a pop-off performance there from Sign Us, please. They grabbing another huge victory, and now the question is what kind of gap have they been able to open up on that Mobile 1 leaderboard? Because, you know, obviously I imagine they will be back tomorrow night to make sure that they solidify their spot. I talked at the top of the day about CHR. They were in first place coming into tonight, had a bit of a lead, but when you don't show up on a single night, it allows so many teams to catch up and pass you, and I'm very curious to see if CHR is even still in the top 4. Definitely a squad I hope comes out tomorrow night, because I think that is a very talented squad there. They obviously showed up well in ALGS, and I believe they have great potential here in Series E, but they have to be here and they have to qualify. So hopefully CHR comes back, but Sign Us, please, doing what needs to be done here tonight to grab their spot in next season of Series E. We're going to go to a quick break, but when we come back, it is our final game of the day here for Qualifiers Day 3.
I wasn't born in the spotlight. Nah. Had to grind and shine like a star on a hot night. And something about the struggle now resides in my muscles. And every trial and trouble helped to hang my hustle. Real rock stars don't chase the spotlight. It chases them.
Hey, shake it, kiddo.
Love Dad.
Kellogg's Rice Krispies Treats. A little love when it's needed.
All right, welcome back to Series E, where we had an incredible game number 4 performance coming out from Sign Us, Please, Sync and Wicked. That duo absolutely popping off there in game number 4.
Yeah, I mean, there's no better feeling as a competitor to, I mean, Sync is feeling great, but you know who's feeling really great is Tempest. Tempest just got so much more confidence in his teammates. Not like he really needed it. He's teamed with them for a reason, and they've already won numerous games today too. So the fact that they're able to just sit back and dominate as a two-man squad just shows Tempest, hey, all I got to do is continue to hit these scans, continue to play my part. Sync knows exactly what he's doing. Wicked's there with the support as well. You really didn't see any flaws in their gameplay. Every decision that was being made was at max efficiency. You know, Sync's just moving around, making sure no one is taking care of this roof and taking over this roof as they're taking care of all of the angles. And it started with them even laying the jump pad down at the right time. They forced the team over towards their left to kind of filter over towards that left-hand side. Then they come swoop back around over towards the right-hand side, lay the jump pad down, take over the roof. And I believe there was about 3 attempts onto the roof, a Valkyrie ult, jump pads, numerous attempts over towards that, and they fended off all of them.
Yeah, they had the high ground, and now they also have the lead here on the Mobile One leaderboard. Sign Us Please now in first place with 53 points. Vets R Us find themselves in second place with 48 after their win in game number 3. Dudes Night Out slowly creeping up, still in third place though with 39, but it's important for them. Dudes Night Out started off the night in the top 4 of the cumulative leaderboard. So let's go ahead and take a look at the cumulative leaderboard in just a moment. But Sign Us Please, after 2 days of play, this is 2 days, this is 8 games overall out of the total 13 that we've played so far, and Dudes Night Out are now in the lead.
It's going to get very interesting here because I don't think that these top teams are going to really slow down. I don't think Sign Us Please is going to slow down. I have a feeling XO is going to keep it up. Dudes Night Out as well. I'm really worried that it's going to be a battle for this 4th spot. I mean, I'm looking at Skirt. I'm looking at CHR, I'm looking at FMS, and you could even go down to 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, maybe even 11th place with 2 Marines, 1 Controller. So a lot of different opportunities because we have 6 games left overall, 1 game left tonight.
Yeah, Sign Us Please, after 2 days of playing, after 8 games so far, 105 points. They've doubled basically the points that they ended in night number 2. Let's take a look at the Mobile One high performance moment of game number 4. And of course, how fitting it is. The Octane play coming out from Sync was absolutely nuts. But it's this importance of remaining present in the late game, making sure that nothing gets by you. They notice that there's a duo right below them, and that's their first target in mind.
And just pay attention to how they each land here. Sync takes that, and then Wicked takes the side. Bubble comes down. They're still playing maximum edge, waiting, all the way until that zone hits them. Then they finally drop when they see the opportunity. And once they drop, they just collapse so fast. This is a 2-on-3 situation. They're punching people outside the ring. Sync's barely take any damage as he continues to back down. He reloads. He crouches so he has some sort of cover. All of that's happening so fast, but the way that you watch them play, it's like they've been there a million times. They're not concerned. It's like the, situation's moving in slow-mo for them. And that just goes to show how capable they are of winning these end zones. And we already know how strong they are in straight up skirmishes, et cetera, et cetera. So it's great to see, again, multiple areas of their gameplay that they're able to execute. And that's not easy to do. You have to be in that situation a ton to be able to pull that off.
Now we have one final game. In game number 5, can SeriesE please take the overall lead in the cumulative leaderboard before we head into the final night of qualifiers tomorrow night? We'll find out in just a moment, but game number 5 is already it should be a banger with how our teams have been playing so far, and especially with how SeriesE please are performing.
SeriesE please is probably thinking about that esports arena survey they're going to get so they can find out which partner they're going to have, because the way that these guys are rocking through right now, I'm wondering who they're going to beat, because there's 4 spots again up for grabs, and this team looks like they're ready to go. Like you said, 8 games, and they're already popping off with over 100 points. That's phenomenal. And we're not sure if, CHR, aka Obey Alliance, is the team that played today and even got through, or if they're just kind of taking a break. If they're taking a break, well, now they're going to have a big day cut out for them tomorrow, because a lot of really good teams here are trying to take those final spots. And they've been in SeriesE 2 times in a row, so I'd like to see them make that big push for 3 in a row going forward. But there's a team that has won 2 games out of 4 so far. SeriesE please. And again, Tempest loving what he saw from his teammates.
Oh,
and loving that armor.
And he loves to see the loot as well. That purple armor off drop. They're also in Frag West. They're going to have a lot of priority in terms of the rotation, and especially with this ring coming in. Yeah, this is a team, though, that have been really been able to succeed on the edge. Do we see them maybe just running out to the northwest, maybe pushing over towards Skyhook, pushing up to survey camp or refinery, find these early kills, or did they just set up for the late game?
I think maybe going to Epicenter, taking High Hill directly above Fragment, kind of looking down, and then you filter the teams that come out of Survey and Refinery, because typically they have fairly weak loot. And then you could even see a team on the very north-hand tunnel of Skyhook that's going to make the rotation out. And we already saw purple armor coming in from Tempest. So you know that this loot is going to be fairly weak from these sides. So it depends on how they want to go about that situation. But I don't know if they have a scan on where the zone is. Was that them that picked that up for us? I don't believe so. So I don't know if they're going to be able to predict that. So that could create them playing a little bit more aggressive and a little bit different than we were anticipating. But 2 brains, 1 controller, they're going to go for that rotation that we saw previously, most likely balloon to balloon over throughout all this. But pings are going down. They may even be interested in focusing this fight, because they need a lot of points. I mean, they're in 11th place overall, so they have to start rolling now.
Yeah, their game plan when it comes to basically the final games of the day, it's just get out of your drop early. You can see why they started off with double purples along with the blues, so they went left countdown around 2 minutes 10 seconds and started pushing the team at Lava Fissure when they were trying to rotate themselves. Scan out as Tech tries to make his way across, and he does take about 50 damage there. He'll be able to reset on this one, but the team is now stuck down on the bridge below. Dude's night out, losing out on 1. As we change on over to that fight, but it looks like Odd Freestyle was able to chase down north, and a lot of teams in the area, and that means a lot of teams that 2 brains, 1 controller can try and bully here, and Tangy is seeing a lot of that punishment coming out. Verhulst also, as he will get knocked. That's going to be Tech to pick that one up. 2 brains, 1 controller, wanted to find the action early, and they have.
This is exactly what they needed. It's also teams that are kind of sitting over towards the top of the leaderboard, as Slurpee is over there with his loot, his head in the loot box, and just getting ripped apart for about 75 damage. So he's gonna have to reset, pop some cells, also hit a scan in between these, most likely, as he was scanned as well. So there's the counter scan, as it's only natural. Bloodhound for Bloodhound throughout all of this. And now 2 brains, 1 controller. While they did pick up some kills, they have to find their way back on over towards the high ground. And this guy popped the beast of the hunt. What's going on?
Yeah, you gotta be careful. It's gonna be RAK, actually, just you can drive by, just rolling past and scanning them up. They're completely split up, though. As you can see, Renegade all the way up front by himself. Apathy is nearby, though, but while he does get a knock on the Skittle Cakes, AJ is going to pick one up onto Renegade, and now it looks like they're going to try and thirst him as well. Renegade not long to survive here. And a lot of teams in the area, 2 Brains, 1 Controller, are avoiding a lot of this fighting, going into staging proper now. And they do have this position set up as they go ahead and push. There is the Gibraltar bubble. Slurpee has to be careful in this 1v3. He's doing his best of trying to avoid a lot of this damage, but he is going to go down. Now he drops down to the low ground. Odd freestyle. I don't know if he has his bubble for his squad. Tech is here on the high trying to punish them, but they've taken so many disjointed fights. But here is Tech with the EVA 8. Does get the knock onto AJ. Where is the rest of AJ's squad? As Tech is trying to secure this thirst, and he will be able to. But he loses out on Odd freestyle throughout all of that, as well as 6xZ's comes in for arguably, what, the 5th party at this point, and they would love to just pick up the loot. They don't even need the kills. They just want the loot, honestly, with the blue armors and the white on nades here. But as you can see, a lot of teams just kind of funneling into this fight for now, and 6xZ's will slow things down. But on the kill feed, we do have Sign Us Please starting to pick up the action once again. Great scan out from nades. There's a full squad beneath you guys. And Wizzy's got to be careful. He tries to peek this angle.
Nice job utilizing the strafe on top of this bridge over here. Nade is going to be nice against the wall, but the bubble is fairly well placed as well. But I wonder if they're going to set this when they are. They have a little bit of damage done. They're going to go onto the 2nd level here and try to play a little bit more cover. But what a big missed opportunity for 2 Brains, 1 Controller as Sync just continues to dominate this lobby. They were so staggered, and they had this opportunity with the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th parties coming through that if they survive, they have the superior armor. They have good positioning. All they got to do is stick together. You were saying that they were playing it safe. They were playing it passive. Once they decided to get aggressive, Slurpee was the only one there in that bubble fight, and they got punished for it.
We have to remember, though, Tech is alive, and if there's anything 2 Brains, 1 Controller are really known for, you know, their rotates are great, their prediction of ring is great, but it's Tech's ability to get his team back into the game. So many times we've seen him. Of course, in the past, it would be off of Crypto, but being on that Octane himself, he can genuinely get them back. But here's Moonshrooms. We saw them picking things up in game number 4 as they are trying to get aggressive here early on. They do have a squad in front of them. It's going to be Nick Cage match, and it doesn't seem like they have a death totem set up for this one. And so they're not going to have that extra opportunity here as they're trying to survive. They don't know where the other team is, and that's the difficulty you run into when you're not running that Bloodhound. You just don't have that same information that can prove so invaluable. But Moonshrooms will just go ahead and back off, and Nick Cage match, you know, they can buy time for another full push.
Once that EMP goes off and you're not able to fully capitalize and push in, your opportunity goes away, especially when, I forgot which player it was, ended up going for a slide jump into the window. That would have been huge to be able to shoot through those bars of the window, create opportunities, get some damage. Then you start to collapse on that, but just didn't hit the jump, and now the reset comes in from Nick Cage match. And Nick Cage match kind of understands the situation where you get EMP'd, a team does a field push. Now you kind of feel confident with a little bit of a counter push. You understand Crypto falls off when he doesn't have his ultimate. That drone has been destroyed, and now they can use this Season 1 wingman Revenant Death Totem to possibly make some plays.
Yeah, they almost have the jump pad, and they could just go ahead and throw it down behind this wall and jump in on this one if they want. But looks like they're just waiting for that Death Totem. Season 1 wingman sitting on it in the back line. It looks like with them backing off, they're going to set up quite possibly. Oh, they're just completely backing away from this one, surprisingly enough. A lot of action, though, still taking place across the map as looks like Odd Freestyle is back in on this one as get the knock. Tech does go down as 3 randos from Discord will get finished off. And like I said, 2 Brains, 1 Controller. As long as Tech is alive, he's getting them back into the game.
Yeah, he's so good at that. Even like you talked about with Crypto, with Octane, doesn't really matter. And they're also pretty fortunate that they run into a duo, even though they were able to recover all of their loot. Running into a duo in that situation is just such more relaxing than fighting a 3-man squad, especially when you have 1 player down and you just came back. Because third parties will start to come through. You can see player outlines over towards that northwest side. They're kind of interested in pushing, but big props to Tech for getting his team back into this one. It's not over to 2 Brains Controller quite yet because they really need this game, Jamerson. I mean, realistically, in my eyes, if they don't put up, you know, a 15, 20-point game here, I'm not really sure. I mean, they have what it takes in that final day, but it's only 5 games, and that's just tough because everyone's so used to playing 6 typically, so you don't really, you know, get that final game to potentially come back and get all of those points that you really need. So they need to think of right now as this opportunity presents themselves as that being that game 6.
Here comes a full push. Bubble's already been used by this squad. Oi Senpai hasn't hit the totem quite yet, but it's going to be the exit from this squad, the Valkyrie. Getting them out of trouble here. They do not want to deal with that death totem whatsoever. And so, Nick Cage match lose out on that opportunity, but they'll have plenty more to come with 17 squads left in this lobby. It was Team Skirt, it looked like, that got out of danger there. Exile with a great redeploy for them, and they're taking up that position that you were talking about before, Tom, that maybe we would see Sign Us Please taking really the high ground here, overlooking Fragment, and try to pick up kills from distance. And we'll see if Team Skirt can do that right now. They haven't found too much action on board with Vets Are Us, who are still in the top of the leaderboard currently. Second or third place, I forget. We'll see if they can pick up any extra kills, but this is going to be a difficult position to do that out of, as you can see a lot of teams in the Frag East area. You don't want to full commit onto fights. They do have that Revenant, though, and so that might be how they do it.
Problem is with Broken Building is there's no cover for your Revenant ultimate. I wonder how they would approach the situation, where they would put it. You put it on the stairs over there, you still have the opening on your north side directly behind you where people could shoot if they did get eyes on that. The last thing you want to do is be sending it over towards the team, and then someone just charge rifles your death totem, and you're like, oh wait, I never got sent back. I'm stuck here in this situation. So really interesting spot to be in for Vets Are Us. I think that eventually they will wait for a big silence to come through, and they will use that death totem. It's just a matter of where will that be placed and when will they push.
They have a lot to worry about as well, as you can see. A lot to consider when you have so many teams in the area for these fragment circles now. Strictly north of peak, trying to get rid of that jump pad. They do not want to get full sent on, and only one player is able to take it. abort mission here, but it looks like he does make it safely into the broken diner. But it doesn't matter. It was 2 brains, 1 controller on the other side. Tech going down. Nades are going to go out, and that might be enough time for them to recover, as Vets Are Us do not want to push out of this building yet.
Vets Are Us, this is a perfect time to use that death totem now that you already have the knock. Could perfectly aggress onto them and at least get the finish onto Tech, but fortunately for them, the finish does come through. They get that kill, and now they're going to have to get Tech back into the game and see, hey, well, they got both of us in. Can we get him in? It's going to be tough to do. It's in a little bit more of a congested area. Circles do start to close, so you take a little bit more damage than previously. So 2 brains, 1 controller need to come up big in this situation, as Tangy's actually going to go down. Senpai with the shots coming through. He's going to be healing, but not fast enough, as the finish does come through. Senpai most likely going to get res A-okay, as this is just zone number 2, but a very nice push from Nick Cage match onto 2 players.
Yeah, huge pickup for Nick Cage match, especially putting a stop to Dudes Night Out, who are in our top 4 currently, and Nick Cage match are a team that need to catch up. 2 brains, 1 controller. They were able to recover the banner of Tech, and so they have plenty of options. There are 2 respawn beacons for them to use, but one of them is currently being camped by a person with the charge rifle, so that is not an option for themselves. There's one on the other side of the bridge, but maybe they go all the way over towards like No Name and go for the res over there. And it looks like that is going to be their plan as they start making their way on over, but they're taking a lot of damage in doing so.
Those pesky shots from behind, using all the resources, but you think you have a lot of time in these situations, you really don't. So you check one respawn beacon, you realize it's being camped with a charge rifle, just like you're talking about. You have to go and check this one, and if there's resistance over there, you have to make a different play. And you can see there's already a team that made their way over towards the choke. Everywhere they go out into the open throughout all of these situations, just so difficult for 2 brains, 1 controller. Res from Odd Freestyle. You can see an Octane flying in from on top of the bridge, and there goes the scan. Odd Freestyle, not long for this world, as the drop is going to come through from FMS. And tough situation for 2 brains, 1 controller, but you really feel like they got baited by that Octane jump head they threw on the ground.
As soon as you saw that focus going down onto it, I think you just make the call to just not even try anymore, especially when you're stuck inside Fragment East. This is why it's so difficult to make a push. There's teams every which way. Any cardinal direction, there's going to be a squad there, and that's what they ended up running into. 2 brains, 1 controller. Again, a really tough loss to take here, and that's going to make it that much more difficult heading into our games tomorrow. 5 more left to go for them to try make a big rally back. We'll see if they can do it, but Still GG's coming out from them. On board with FMS, who are playing here inside the train tunnel. They are in for this zone. I don't know if all of this stairwell is in or if they just want to take the second and first floor. And they do have that option, especially with clearing out 2 brains and 1 controller. They might have to worry about this push, though. Kimchi Lee and his squad on the other side, they should have that Revenant Totem up once again. And so this is a great time now, I think, to go for that Octane, or the Rev Octane push.
And going back to 2 brains, 1 controller, because they're such a skilled team, got to talk about the situation that they're in. We've seen them play so amazing at certain times as RAK is going to get aggressive, just going through defensive bombardment after defensive bombardment. Krillin taking a ton of damage. They're so spread out. It's kind of been the storyline here for RAK as they just go in one after another. That's really not going to work against these top teams here in SeriesE. Bursty there, going to drop Apathy. Renegade running around, just trying to survive as long as possible. There's the devotion to the face. Krillin, he's down as well. That's going to be Bursty and Buff Pathfinder coming through with some really nice plays. But going back again, 2 brains, 1 controller, they keep Jamerson making very minor mistakes that are just ending up costing them big time. And you would think that early game you could kind of get away with these things. Unfortunately, they are being punished extremely hard throughout all of these. And it happened with the Thermal Station game. Then they picked it up in game number 2. Then it happened again here with Slurpee G being a little bit overextended and his teammates not being there. But we do have a fight for Sign Us Please inside of the end zone here, which is a crazy end zone. Jamerson, we never get to see this end zone.
I have not seen this one in so long. A lot of utility has been used. Nades out now as this team is starting to get pinched quite possibly from behind. But Sign Us Please need to make their way on in. They've already used their bubble, making this that much more difficult. It's going to be Team Skirt on the other side of this one. Z Davis backs away to try and heal up his shields. And you can see now the third party coming in. This is where one of the squads has to just absolutely call and say, we can't fight this anymore. The third party is here, and it looks like they are getting ready to try and leave, but can they? As Kimchi Lee is trying to put a stop to them, the silence has gone down. Strictly taking a lot of damage on the other side. Vets are us. We'll go for that full reset. As you can see, Crummy now throwing down that jump pad to buy time for himself. That squad will clear it, and he does back away to the squad. And so, great calls coming out from all the teams here, backing away from this fight, particularly Sign Us Please.
Now that you're stuck on the outside of the building, though, this isn't really ideal because that's where the third parties could potentially come from. So I think advantage right now over to Sign Us Please based on the bullying that they did even to get towards that. And I would really say the bubble placement, it was a pretty big difference for there. You don't really want to fight them while that bubble is up. So once Crummy saw that, he's like, all right, let me just back down, come back over towards my teammates, then wait for some more opportunities, possible third parties that come through. Mollis is going to drop one of the players on Moon Shrooms, and you can see Moon is hitting a medkit through a defensive bombardment, and Shroom is having to go back and forth, and oh man, some good shots, but Moon isn't going to live very much longer because FMS coming through with another well-timed third party.
Now we're down to 9 squads now as Sign Us Please starting to really fire up here in the final game. They got full control of the high ground now, avoiding this fight on the low as Vets R Us are trying to make another push on in. Does Kimchi Lee have his death totem for this? And this is such a weird opportunity to try and use it as well because so many teams can come in for the third party now. They do have full control over this building. He peeks out, misses his shots with the EVA 8, backs away. Bubble has been used as well, so they can get pushed. They're in a quite vulnerable spot, but just the threat of the third parties just keep them safe for now. Crummy looks like might be out of heals. He's sitting on a red Evo and hasn't healed up that yet, as they might have run out of utility overall, as it looks like Sign Us Please continuing the pressure here, but Northstar are starting to punish them. Wicked taking a lot of damage. Sync now almost cracked on that armor. Doesn't have the armor swap, as he does get hit up from behind. The bubble has been used. As he tries to hit that bat, will cancel it for now. After going for the peak, it looks like it is safe. Here's the EMP, though. He will stick that bat, hopefully, as Vets R Us lost out on Crummy for a moment, but the res is there with the gold bag, but he is forced to pull off of it now as the squad continues to push. Nemusana getting the knock on to Wicked in that other fight as well, and they get knocked out. Sign Us Please are out. They've done a lot of damage there throughout this game, but it looks like Vets are still trying to recover here. Gold bag res once again onto Crummy, and Kimchi Lee with those silences are keeping teams at bay as they go for the full reset.
Such an underrated feature is just blocking the doors, just like Kimchi Lee was doing, and making it so if you run in, you're just a little bit scared. You don't want to take a little bit of damage, but you also don't want to lose your utility. coming through in that type of situation, whether you're a Gibby or maybe a Wraith trying to queue out, and they're going to be resetting on this side. And it's almost better that they get knocked and then res, because it looks like you're talking about, they are out of resources, which is why Crummy's so desperate to hunt this player down, trying to find out exactly where they went, and that's going to be helping. There goes the cells that they desperately needed, and now they still have the positioning in this zone. Big nade comes through, but it doesn't connect, as Crummy's doing a great job on that Octane, moving around and trying to be a sticky target. As, man, Vets R Us is all over the place on this map. You would think they'd have a lot of kills, but at this point, they're just trying to survive.
Yeah, strictly going for some cheeky jump peeks there. Flashbacks of bow fighting in Rust, but they do have a great position. They have full control over this area right now as 6xZs get into a fight. AJ gets finished off. Top 4 squads now as Boxa T goes down to Kimchi Lee. Beautiful shots as it looks like Wizzy. What is going on? They are just completely unaware of this angle now. Nades. He will have the lurk on them, but does he even trade back? No. It's going to be a clean teamfight win for Vets R Us, and they had no idea what was going on the other side.
Vets R Us could really use this game. 3 squads left. One of them, I believe, is a rat. They took the high ground on top of the giant icicle there and just were raining down fire. We saw them do that in the previous games when the zone was, I believe, over towards like that beacon building. But now you can see from the picture-in-picture where exactly these players are located. Bubble is going to disappear. EMP is going to pop off. That is going to connect. Are they going to be able to use this Revenant? You can see the silence is going to come out. Very nicely placed silences so they can't advance on the map. But Kimchi is just so weak. He can't even heal throughout all of this. The team is starting to push. Takes a nice angle. Is going to drop him. But where is this rat throughout all of this? It's actually just a full-on 3-on-3. The rat was eliminated. So let's see if Crummy can come back here.
It's just a full reset coming out, and if they want to go for the res, you can see Nemusuna left in a 1v2 up against Vets R Us, but it's Vets R Us that have the full reset. Kimchi Lee hasn't healed up yet, though. This jump pad has been used, and now they're going to go ahead and full send it, knowing it's the 2v1. Nemusuna taking so much damage there, and it's going to be the final melee. Vets R Us get a second win of the evening, and now they really throw in their name in the hat to try and secure a spot here for Series E with 1 day of qualifiers left to go, Tom.
I believe they were sitting right around that 11th or 12th place, right next to 2 Brains, 1 Controller, and we were on board with a lot of 2 Brains, 1 Controller in the beginning of the game because of the amount of action that happened on their side. But in the end, they pull off the dub, and that's so big because, what is that, the 2nd win in 5 games. So we only had 3 winners tonight out of 5 games because 2 teams won 2 games. And that just goes to show you these teams are the teams that you got to watch out for tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see, though, who wins the lion's share of $1,000 tonight. We're going to take a short break while we tally up all the results. And when we get back, we'll be able to announce the winners right after this.
Verses coming daily under pressure. Working on applying the scheme. The true sign trademark is at the edge of your dreams. Yeah. One shot, now the future is yours. I'm turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the formula and chemistry. New memories spark and motivate and make the industry shake. Put the bars in the breaks. I'm talking one chance that was so good for the goal. It's one shot, now the future is yours. Go!
I wasn't born in the spotlight. Nah. Had to grind and shine like a star on a hot night. And something about the struggle now resides in my muscles. And every trial and trouble helped to hang my hustle. Real rock stars don't chase the spotlight. It chases them.
Welcome back, everybody. Yay, so here, all 5 of our games done here tonight for the 3rd day of our Series E qualifiers. And Vets R Us grabbing the victory to close the day. A very strong showing from them tonight. We'll have to see how the leaderboard shakes up after our next break. But let's check our post-game stats here for the last game of the day. Strictly leading the way there. Big win for Vets R Us. But it was Nemusona for Harbinger showing up strong. 5 kills, grabbing kill leader, almost 2,400 damage there for Harbingers. That was the squad that I picked, if you guys watched the shows last week, as a dark horse at the start of our broadcast on Thursday, but it's been a bit of a rough go for them. They still have a lot of work to do, and hopefully, if they want to get into Season 3, they have a strong showing tomorrow, but definitely a good performance here to close points for them. So well done there by Harbingers, but obviously Vets R Us taking another huge victory here. Great finish to the show there. We will have our Mobile 1 leaderboard here in just a little bit after this break. We'll check in with Jamerson and T-Squared. Do want to give you guys a special reminder though. We here at Esports Arena are very excited for a new show we're going to be doing with Rob Paulson. You may know him as the voice of Carl Reeser and many more characters. And if you guys want to see him talk about tunes and all kinds of other great things, have some awesome guests and discussion, make sure you tune in here this Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific time at twitch.tv/esportsarena to check out Rob Paulson. And if you guys want to ask him some questions, you can go submit them on Twitter right now. Go check us out at Esports Arena if you want to ask Rob a question yourself. That's going to do it for me tonight, folks. We're going to hit a quick break, but when we come back, Jamerson and T-Squared will check out our Mobile 1 leaderboard and close out the show.
It's Kellogg's, Fruit Loops, Apple Jacks, Corn Pops, Tiger Paws. They're Jumbo. Jumbo snacks, snack time heroes. Go take them on the go. Eat cereal, magnified, showing up for snacking time. Jumbo snacks, snack time heroes. Go take them on the go. It's Jumbo. It's for snacking. It's Jumbo Snacks.
Stack Pringles flavors. Make new ones.
How much do you think Pringles paid these people?
Hardly anything. Hey, you guys want to stack different Pringles flavors to create new flavor combos? Here, I'll go first. Pizza, barbecue, and jalapeno. The spicy barbecue pizza stack.
Get him!
Grandpa, what's going on?
Pringles. We're trapped in a Pringles commercial. They must have taken us in our sleep.
How can we get out?
We can't, Summer. They warned me this would happen, and I didn't listen.
Stack Pringles, make endless new flavors. Stacking Pringles to make
So
new
aggressive,
flavors. Make
so
endless new
aggressive.
flavor and barbecue, wavy, and sour cream and onion equals a 3-layer dip stack.
All right, welcome back, guys, to Series E. 5 games done. That is it for tonight's qualifiers. We'll have 5 more taking place, but we got to go ahead and take a look at the results. With $1,000 on the line, first place taking $700. Who ended up in first place? Let's take a look at the Mobile 1 leaderboard because it was such a contested affair, and it will be Vets R Us that do take the final win and the overall victory tonight. Sign us, please. We're not able to do it back-to-back, but they do end up in second place. So they still won $1,000 overall across 2 nights.
And I really think the big thing to mention here is look at 11th place. I mean, we could talk about the top teams all the time, but one of our top teams that didn't have our best performance was Team Skirt. So that allowed a lot of other teams to kind of make their way up on that cumulative leaderboard.
Yeah, let's take a look at the cumulative leaderboard, and Dudes Night Out are currently in first place, but not by much. Sign us, please. With the handicap of playing 5 less games, are 4 points separated from them right now. What an amazing performance coming out from Sign Us, please.
And is this Vets R Us first time? Because they had 68 points overall, and then they have 9th place, 68 points today. So that just goes to show you that they could really pop off tomorrow and in the last week come through and take this thing after not really even showing up and being focused on other things. But it's going to be a very interesting day tomorrow. I mean, there's a lot of teams. Everybody that's really on this leaderboard up to 2 brains, 1 controller, I would say really has a chance. I wouldn't count out even Anime Freaks. But let's take a look at that Mobile 1 high performance moment. and it has to be probably the tail end of last game.
Yeah, you can see it was just Kim Chi Lee getting that initial knock, and this disconnected nature of this fight. You can see Nemusona is just in the back line by himself. Where was he throughout all of this fight? But you have both players also taking individual 1v1s up against Crummy and Kim Chi Lee, allowing them to win that one out, and then brings it down to a 2v1.
Yeah, exactly. And then they full heal throughout all this, and that's what you need to do. Then the full send comes through, and I love how it's a downed player on a bounce pad. That's the first player to go and send it throughout all of that. And Crummy's not going to lose that fight. You're not going to lose that fight in that type of situation. Again, they're vets. They've been here before. Crummy formerly on SeriesE with Team Rockstar, so he's been through this type of situation. But we're in for one heck of a day for our final day tomorrow.
Yeah, Strictly as well, I believe. What was he, Season 1 Cheez-It? I can't quite remember. But yeah, they definitely want to make it back into SeriesE. A lot on the line, and you guys don't want to miss any of the action. We'll be back here tomorrow night after our qualifiers to set up the finals lobby. And it'll be 5 more games to try and secure a spot in SeriesE Season 3. $750 per player. Of course, the opportunity to play twice a night, and our final of the season as well. But congratulations once again to Vets R Us for taking first place, for Team Sign Us Please as well for taking second. And we'll see so much action in play for us tomorrow night. You do not want to miss it, so make sure you're following the channel. Make sure you also sub to the channel so you can join us for our pre-game shows once SeriesE Season 3 starts off. That's going to do it for us for right now, but we will be back tomorrow. Thank you to all of our viewers, to all of our competitors, and of course, all of our partner squads and our partners for making this possible. We'll see you guys tomorrow, and have a good night.